consistent here on the show. If you missed out on yesterday's games, I'll tell you this. First of all, you missed an extremely long show with a lot of rounds, even going into overtime in some of them. We'll give you a quick recap of what went down before we get underway.
Oh god, the knife is coming in. Leaf just ran out Palace. Takes an AK, gets a nice shot up the top stairs. They're getting dropped by the SMG up close. Moneymaker for Leaf. He has hit the jackpot in this bonus round. He's got a smoke, but he'll never survive that defuse. He's so low.
Does he have time?
That should
Does
be
he have time to defuse?
Surely.
He doesn't have time.
They didn't kill him.
Comes in from behind. He gets himself a quick two-piece. The bomb going to be planted, and just like that, with a minimal buy, we're in the after-plant situation. Zulkenberg, he hasn't been swatted out, but now he shoots off, and he gets finished off by Derek. This man is single-handedly saving this map here for Bren. Derek, the quad kill in the final round of regulation, saves the round for Bren.
Actually sticking around, going for a late execute. Pro 4x3, bro. That's costing them their AK, it's costing them the round.
Pro gets flashed by Jaw. Machine gun will drop him.
Machine Gun's found another. There's no more saving. Now they're going to go for this no matter what.
That's going to do it. Machine Gun, a quad kill.
Viva has pulled it back. He's going to go back. Oh, that's a 3K. And now just one more player to collect an incredible 1 versus 4. This would be one of the best plays of the tournament so far. Viva looking for it, and there it is. How clean can you get? Viva, 1 versus 4, 12 rounds on the board for Vici. Csgo still alive, a good double kill. Now playing with a smoke as well, not just fine shots. Okay, this is unbelievable from Csgo. What? What is that? 4 kills. Alma gets a double, a 3rd kill. This is disgusting from Alman. He's gonna get a 4K. Huge, huge stuff from Alman. Jam Young gets rid of Destroyer. King helping as well. I'm flying. It's picked apart. This is just shooting gallery for Vici. I feel like Inferno was just a formality at this point.
We heard Dinko at the end talking about a sense of normality there, and I don't think we had any sense of normality at all with yesterday's games. Let's bring in the other guys as well. We got Mitch, we got Bleh, and we got, of course, the man Dinko, looking ever so handsome, if not more handsome today.
I'm enjoying these daily compliments, yes, I have to say. It's really fluffy.
He's so shy.
It's fine. Wait till next week, and then they're slowly going to reverse the other way, as Mitch has found out over his time of working with me.
Well,
but gentlemen,
I enjoy that too.
Well, first, Dinko, how are you doing today? You're looking so bright and shiny, so smiley. Mitch, you're looking so smiley as well. Bleh. Yeah.
So I worked out my system, and I nap after the broadcast, and then I get 5 hours sleep. And then that way, it all adds up, and I can feel fresh.
Is it like, I mean, you're young, right? I'm like 32 years old. You're younger than me, right?
Correct.
You could be like, if you're like 40 years old and you look like that, I'm going to start doing your regimen of definitely taking naps and 5 hours of sleep. Mitch, you're looking fresh today. We had quite exciting games.
We had games, yeah, they happened. That was one of the more interesting days yesterday, but hopefully that's all behind us now and we're back to Counter-Strike.
Well, my hopes as well is that Bleh finally has become human here today on the show. It would be nice to hear his normal voice. Maybe not Robo Bleh, though it does have a good ring to it.
Becoming human, is that the theme of the day?
Well, apparently it's a good game. I don't know, Mitch.
It's a really good game.
He has to say like #ad because he's really been pushing it quite a bit. But anyways, let's move into today's show. It's actually, I think, start off by taking a look at the results from yesterday before we move fully into what's going to be kicking off today. And again, as we said, a very, very long and grueling day. But in the end, I think for me, Mazalai finally got a victory. That was the big standout point here, Mitch.
That's it. Not only just picking up their first map, 19-17, they sure made it close, but then taking the third of the series, putting themselves up on 1, and I mean, they're still probably in a position where they get knocked out before playoffs, but hell, they've got at least a chance now, however slim it is.
Yeah, very slim. I think it's up to them to now pretty much win out, except the problem is their matchups are going to get even more difficult as the days go on. They still have the likes of Tyloo and Vici to meet up against. But Bleh, I mean, obviously looking at the final game, we had Invictus. They came close. They didn't pull it through at the very end. And I start to see why that madness kind of grows within you as the days go by, because you had Invictus beat Tyloo, Tyloo beat Vici, but then Vici beat Invictus. So it's a circle. It's a circle of life here.
It's more like a circle of madness, if you ask me. But hey, man, I'll take it. It was interesting how it looked like Vici would kind of run away with that series, especially Mirage with that start they had. But Invictus showing that they had something in store for us on the second half, and can't take anything away from them. They really showed a lot of grit and tenacity with Inferno. Vici just showing that the previous win they had on Inferno as well for the Pro League lower bracket finals, it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't Invictus being tired. It's just that Vici have the deeper map pool and have the better players. For me, what really stood out for me was Vici. Everyone stepping up. It wasn't just the Almond and the Kaze and Jamyoung show, right? We had King step up, we have Almond step up, and more importantly, we had Advent also putting in the numbers. So, yeah, the number 2 spot, I believe, is still very firmly in the hands of Vici Gaming for now.
So weird to see that, like, every team can beat each other there, except Vici beating Tyloo, and then Vici is still going to maintain that number 2 slot. But speaking about number 2 slots, let's see where they currently stand in the overall group standings, because that's what it's going to be about. Out of the 10 teams we have playing, only 8 can go through, and well, there you go, Vici, only number 2 in China, going to be number 2 overall in our standings here, Dinko.
Yeah, Vici, I think, are looking the most consistent out of all the teams. The only team they can't beat is Tyloo, it seems. So, for the most part, I think we'll be seeing Vici stay around the top 2 spots. But beyond, again, top spot, pretty impressive stuff. We'll see if they can keep that up today. I think the other team that we kind of said are looking like the best in terms of the system being played. So, a Vici Beyond series a little bit later on in the tournament will be fun to watch. But for the most part, we take a look at the table, and it's kind of what you'd expect, right? Bren and Mazalai towards the bottom, Lucid Dream there as well. This is kind of a normal table, really, without maybe Tyloo being in third place. You kind of expect them to be towards the top, but things are kind of a little bit normal now. The first week was a bit mental, but we're starting to see where the results are coming through now in the second week.
I do get a little bit worried, though, for Divine Vendetta, because you saw them in, I believe, 6th position, if I can do my math correctly, and they're at 1 and 2. They have a match today up against Tigers, and that means if they lose that, we're going to have like 4 teams on 1 and 3. I guess it might switch a little bit, because Bren obviously still have a match to come up before then. But it's really like anyone's game, I feel like, here, Mitch, towards the bottom of the table. I really don't know who's going to go where, because Mazalai, if they all of a sudden start to wake up, maybe they can break themselves out of that bottom position and maybe secure just barely into 8th place.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's really hard to pin some of these teams down in those bottom 2 spots. Mazalai were the one consistent factor that we were like, okay, 100%. These guys are not going anywhere because of the games they were playing. And yet they turned up yesterday versus Bren. It's a glimmer of hope. I still think they're going to be shy of the playoffs. But yeah, Divine Vendetta, Lucid Dream, Bren, it's really a shuffle up of which one of those teams is going to be going out. And I think that the next couple of games are very important for them. Divine Vendetta, though, look, I mean, you really got to rely on them not taking another loss. But the way they've been playing, I don't think they'll beat Tiger. But it's so hard to say. I don't know what Tiger
They should, Mitch.
We've seen 3 different times the Tiger show up in this tournament. I really don't know whether this is a cat, a kitten, or something to be afraid of.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Tiger have just looked so strange, Mitch. I mean, but coming into today, I think you just have to predict them to win. There's no way, surely they can't lose.
I'm just scared.
Are you sure about that, Dinko?
Nope.
I was going to say, surely they can't lose. That's like me casting and saying something's not going to happen.
I tried to will it into existence, if I say something over and over again, it might actually happen.
No electron soup coming in this one. We're going to be able to see that one coming straight at us, as well as the other games today. Let's take a look at the schedule as the 3 games will be covered. It's going to be starting things off with Tyloo up against Bren Esports, D13 up against Beyond, and Tiger against Divine Vendetta. I'm actually curious, but like, which match out of the 3 are you really looking forward to? Because for me, it's all about annihilation in D13.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That is exactly what my eyes are trained on. Tyloo, Brent should be Tyloo. I say should, but yeah, like we say, we never know. Tiger and Divine Vendetta. Here, listen, man, Divine Vendetta lost to Lucid Dream. That's very telling. I think Tiger's still going to take it. Might be a little rougher than we expect, but I feel like Tiger will still have in the bag that D13 matchup versus Beyond. That's what I'm excited about. Beyond have shown that they are trying to compete to be like a top 4 team in Asia right now, maybe even a top 3 if they're having a good day. But the thing is, D13, they just have the firepower. I feel like it's going to be exciting. I still feel Beyond have the edge. They have the better approach in certain maps. Like, for example, if you look at the way they play Mirage, they're clearly the best team on that map in Asia. But for D13, they don't seem to have the best map, or they don't seem to really have a home map, or like, a few maps where they're very comfortable on. But what we do know they have is they have the firepower. And I'm excited to see Annihilation and, of course, Rate and all these, and Score as well back in action. So it should be a fun banger of a game.
They do also have Train. I mean, that's where we first got to see them.
Beyond can play Train as well, so that's what I'm worried about for D13.
Well, we're going to find out when we get to that series. We're going to start talking about now our first one of the game. And as we mentioned, it's going to be Tyloo and it's going to be Bren. And I think we basically should start talking about Bren, since this is the team in most recent memory from yesterday. This team, they have moments of glory. They have those moments where they start to shine through and look like the team we know they can be. But the problem is they also have a lot of rounds where they look like a completely different team, Dinko.
Yeah, Bren are a team that have potential, but they never really seem to always show up. The issue I have with this team is the fact that they don't really have that one standout star that you can rely upon every single game. So many teams in this tournament have that. Whereas Bren, it's kind of who's going to show up on what day. Yesterday it was Chulo doing most of the work. But again, in the first 2 days of the tournament, he was basically non-existent. So this team, that they got to find that consistency in terms of one player stepping up. Because if they don't have a consistent fragging player on their team, they're going to be lacking the firepower against some of these rosters, and especially against Tyloo, who have the most individually gifted team within Asia. So they have to have everybody showing up today. You can't afford just one player either. So that's the issue I have with Bren. They're just so inconsistent, and the firepower sometimes isn't there.
And I'm starting to look towards Wits as well, in particular, Mitch, because he is, speaking about inconsistent, he's been very inconsistent. I think he's been kind of, in my head, like the ideal player to look at when it comes to Bren, is that he has some moments, again, where he can hit some ridiculous shots. Thinking back to Mirage, thinking back to like CT side in one of the rounds, he goes in towards mid window, he gets a quick 2K, they're up 5-3, and then they lose the round. when they're up 2 players. But he can hit some insane shots, and unfortunately, sometimes he can just die to Molotovs from 100 HP to 0. I don't know what Wits is going to show up today.
You're never going to let that go. Poor guy's going to be living with that till the day he dies. It's just, that's one of the problems, right? We've highlighted it in pretty much every game where he comes up against a decent opper. Wits just can't compete in those fights. Like I want to see Bren versus D13 because I think they'll get absolutely destroyed purely because of how outmatched they will be in that opping department. And it's not necessarily that Wits is bad. It's that he just is inconsistent, as you're saying. We see rounds where he hits some great shots, where he does what's expected of him. I don't think he's ever blown our minds, but it does the job. And then sometimes comes in and it was Wits that when they were pushing short on Mirage, he missed like 4 shots on the players coming down that alleyway. It's like, you can't do that. You will lose the round if you just let them close in the distance like that. I think they've got a pretty big task now versus Tyloo. I guess at least they're going to be able to play that their scrappier CS a little bit more successfully. But as you guys are saying, firepower-wise, they just don't match up.
Well, let's take a look then at Tyloo, because one of the players that Wits will be matching up against is, of course, going to be Dan King. A little bit of inconsistency out of him, but in general, playing a much stronger role within the team. I couldn't even find a single player yet again here that might. Well, the thing is, it's kind of the opposite for me, where I think they're all pretty damn consistent. But I don't even know who the focal point's going to be here, Bled, to really focus on in this matchup.
I feel like, for Dan King, I wouldn't say being underperforming, but being a little quiet, and yet Tyloo having comfortable wins with VT and D13. I think that's a good sign. It's showing that they're not really relying on Dan King having these massive games to win them comfortable wins, right? And we see players like Attacker stepping up. He's a player who's been a little quiet in the few iterations of Tyloo we've seen in the past 1 year, if you ask me. We see slowly coming into his zone, right? He's had his great moments. He's had a very good showing against VG as well. The one player, if you look at the star-studded lineup and then you look at slowly, like, who is this guy? And he showed what he could do in that game. Had a couple of aces here and there, being very stable, very solid as a player. He's basically doing all the rough rolls. You have Summer who can pop off. You have somebody who, in my eyes, is probably the most unpredictable and also the most exciting player to watch in Asian CS. You have a team of star players in this lineup, but I would love to see Dan King step up. I feel like if Dan King steps up, that's Tyloo elevating the level to a point where no team in Asia is going to touch them, and they can finally start competing with some of the EU teams. Bear in mind, they're going to be playing Pro League very, very soon. So I want to see this version of Tyloo do well. And for that to happen, they need to have the star players stepping up apart from somebody. And that man has to be Dan King.
Yeah, I think, just touching on Dan King real quick, I think against Bren today, this is where we're going to see Dan King have a great time. We see him, and when he's given space and openings, he can just dominate. So I think Dan King going up against Bren is going to be a big issue.
All right, well, let's take a look, though, at the vetoes, though. I'm curious to see what maps in particular will be played when it comes to this matchup. And we're going to be seeing Mirage, Train, and Overpass. And Blair, will that little girly scream out of you? I want to hear exactly your thoughts.
Okay, Nuke banned by Tyloo, that's a perma ban. Vertigo getting banned by Bren makes sense, as Tyloo dismantled both Invictus and Vici when they picked it against them. Makes complete sense, and Tyloo picked it as well in the previous game. Mirage pick from Tyloo, probably one of the better maps. I think the only team who can take them down on Mirage is probably Bren. The Train pick from Bren, that's completely out of the left field. I have no idea where that came from. I haven't seen them play Train in quite a while, if you ask me. None of the recent games through features Train. Now, it's a map that Tyloo can play. They did beat VG very convincingly on it, but I don't know why Bren brings this one out. I feel like maybe Inferno would give them a better shot, or Dust 2 for that matter. I feel Dust 2 is a map where Tyloo can potentially drop the ball. Overpass kind of makes sense. It's a map that both the teams kind of do like to play. But yeah, that Train is a big surprise for me, and maybe they have something prepared for us, Jason. Could be interesting.
I actually thought to myself, is this a graphic wrong? Is it backwards? Because, I mean, obviously, Tyloo have played it 7 times the last 3 months. Bren have yet to play it in the last 3 months, over according to HLTV. Going into, like, Train with double op setups, I'm going to feel way more confident in Dan King, unless we see, like, Wits, again, really have that standout game. Mirage as well. I don't know. I feel like we're probably all going to agree that in the end, this should be going Tyloo's way, but it's also kind of didn't go what Tyloo will show up, what Bren will show up.
So my issue with Bren and Tyloo is every map really favors Tyloo. No matter where you go, they just have a much deeper map pool in that respect. We've seen Tyloo on train. They are so fun to watch. I mean, somebody getting aggressive out towards Ivy. I'm excited to see if Bren can hold on to that, or if they can deal with that at all. But when you take a look at some of the other maps, I think even if they went to a Dust 2, that's where they probably still lose, right? You just have these individuals you're going up against on Tyloo. They're still going to stomp you. So I'm interested to see what they have on train. I think Tyloo have shown potential weakness on train in this tournament so far. You know, when Dan King was not really holding that inner bomb site very well. There were a few weaknesses that you may be able to exploit, but you haven't played any officials on it. You're not going to be match fit. You're not going to be ready to go up against the best team in Asia on it. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be a scary scenario for Bren playing out in this pool. So, Tyloo, they could just 2-0 this and get the match over and done with very quickly. I think this Veto just favors them massively.
I kind of see a world right now where Bren 2-0s Tyloo. And I can just see Mitch and Bled just putting their hands in their hair, just ripping it out. Because this is kind of how the tournament's gone for us, right? We've seen some like just wild results. Mitch, do you think there's a chance? Do you think it's going to happen?
No.
Bren can win? Come on, you were a big fan of Lucid Dream.
It's a different team, though, isn't it? This is I think especially
sit there for 5 hours and just look at the most crazy Counter-Strike. He is not going to be a fan of those guys.
Oh, and the team who wanted to start the next map 3 minutes after finishing the one before.
Yeah, what was that?
Lasted an hour and a half.
What was that? You play a map for an hour and a half. You're like, all right, I'm just gonna go to the toilet. Let's get back on it. Like, what? How do you have that energy,
work
dude?
ethic, Mitch. Learn some work ethic.
I'd be passed out after that much Counter-Strike. Wouldn't be ready to just go.
It's fine. You know, like 3 hours of casting with a 3-minute break in between. It's no big deal.
Well, who cares? And the thing for Bren, right? They've obviously got the dedication in that sense. They're happy to go, but maybe they were just coming late for dinner. Up against Maslow, they struggled so much. They lost the series, for God's sake. Versus Tyloo, they're missing so many factors. They haven't got the AWPing. The maps, I mean, I don't know what that train pick is. Obviously, we don't know what they have in store. If they just accidentally click the wrong button, who knows? So you got to favor Tyloo for a 2-0 in this one. If it goes to Overpass, you got to favor Tyloo for a 2-1. I don't see a way that they get the victory here.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be ever like a map selection that's going to favor them and that we see them winning in the ideal world based off past results. You know, I can see people in Twitch chat, or I'm assuming, saying, oh, these biased casters. Well, no, there's a good reason we're saying Tyloo, and hopefully they're going to show you exactly why we've been saying Tyloo. There's also two players we wanted to focus on a little bit here, Blood. It's going to be Attacker. It's going to be Papachulo. I know we said before Papachulo's had a rough little start, but he started to come into his own, and I think he's definitely stood out as probably the top player within the team.
Yeah, especially if you look at that Mazla game, which was so messy, and I feel like it would have haunted Bren for a few nights, the fact that they lost at a particular matchup, right? Poppy was the one standout player. He was way more consistent, was getting a lot of kills, multi-kill rounds, etc., and he was the one shining beacon in what was a pretty dark day for the Bren side. Attacker, though, he's a player who has been kind of quiet in the past few months, I've noticed, like whenever Tyloo had Bentet and Freeman playing for them, and then, you know, both of them left, Bentet left, they had Zeta coming in, then Zeta and Freeman left, and Attacker was kind of like at a point where even I was wondering, like, what's he really doing in this lineup? Like, is he really living up to his star potential? Because Attacker's not just your typical player. We just keep him as like, oh yeah, he's just going to perform average throughout. No, he is a star player. He was brought in as a star player. One of the best exciting prospects in Chinese CSGO had ever seen in a long time when he first came into the scene. So for him to kind of come into his own here alongside everyone else maintaining a level of consistency, I think that's a very exciting prospect. And like I said, you know, if Dan King finally starts waking up, playing at the apex of his ability, we have somebody being unpredictable. If Attacker being this just very sharp, you know, he's the way he opens a bomb set, it's just a marvel to watch. He's got his insane crosshair placement, super fast aiming, very twitchy, and it just works, right? It's just this cauldron of madness that is Tyloo, which, well, most teams in the region just can't handle, and he is going to be a main ingredient in that particular mix.
And, I mean, I'm looking back at past results between the two teams, and technically we have seen Bren beat them before in the past. That was back in, like, January. Yeah.
Yeah, for Katowice. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and Borkum was on the team. And I'm not sure what happened with him necessarily within the roster, but they beat them 2-1. It took them into overtime in the first map of Inferno, 22-18. And then they lost on Inferno 16-7. Then they won on Train 16-11. So with Borkum, you know, I'm going to look at his trade performance in particular. Actually, okay, so he did top frag in that game. I was going to say, you know, one player shouldn't really change the entire skill level you have on a map, but I guess with him top fragging, it was a little bit of a different style. Obviously, it was Bentet on the team back then, not Dan King. But I really don't know how this series is going to go, and I kind of wonder, and I'm maybe going to pick your brain here because we're having some issues with the player at the moment on the server, is what is Tyloo lacking to break through in the global stage to start beating some of these top 20, top 30 teams?
I think what they mainly lack would be what Vici have in spades. It's like there are certain rounds where Vici wins in, like we saw the game they had against Invictus yesterday, and there were certain rounds where Invictus had no idea how to counter Vici, where they were just getting completely demolished. Apart from the second half in Mirage, Vici just like were looking like this really, really solid team. Nothing too spectacular, but it was just like clean, solid Counter-Strike, working the odds, making it work that way. You see Tyloo play these teams, they're going to give a lot of space for a team like Bren to maybe win a few rounds they have no business winning. They're going to give a lot of space for Invictus to try and come back into a game. That is something you can't afford. The problem with Tyloo, they know they have the individual skill level, but they kind of force themselves into scenarios where they want to take fights, where they want to go for these multi-kills, and that needs to be reined in. Now, I don't know who I would switch out for any of the players in the lineup, but I feel like a coach would really come in handy. But like I said, there's probably one player who understands how to play Counter-Strike at the level or the style of Counter-Strike that I enjoy, and that is only Mr. Admin. There's no one else in the region who possesses that particular acumen. So yeah, they just need to tighten it up a little bit, be a little bit more tactical. If you remember when Captain Mo, what was it? Was it Captain Mo, DD, somebody, when they came in and they beat the old Luminosity lineup, they beat Na'Vi. That wasn't just with firepower. That was some crazy, there was a little bit of anti-stratting involved. There was a super hyper passive, but it worked. It was a tactical style which caught the opponents off guard. It wasn't the firepower. So if they can maybe go back to that time with the current firepower they have, I think that could be the X factor.
And yeah, go ahead, Dinko.
No, I agree like completely. I think we needed like a blend of Vici and into Tyloo, right? You need the firepower from Tyloo and you need the tactical success of Vici. You put them together and you've got a Chinese super team. It's impossible to see that happen though for some reason. It's just very difficult to see a world in which that will come together in the near future. So it's kind of frustrating. You know, everyone tried to get this team in place, but for some reason it just never really works out. And the other thing with Tyloo is they've made so many roster changes. Like if you don't follow Asian Counter-Strike closely, you kind of have a look, oh look, Tyloo have a new roster this week. And it's kind of very difficult to keep track of that. So I think, again, consistency in the roster, and Blair is completely correct in terms of finding tactical Counter-Strike and blend that together with their firepower. And then we've got a Tyloo that can compete on the world stage. But right now, they're definitely the best team in Asia, but finding success elsewhere is not going to be easy with this team. In the current ship, they have a little bit of work to do.
Well, something that kind of worries me, and I'm actually curious to hear your two thoughts on this in particular, because Mitch and I talked about it quite a bit during the game, was just like something as simple as playing like anti-flash for a team, right? Or expecting a flashbang to come through. I think back to that one moment where you had Mazalai pushing up long on Inferno, or towards Arch side, trying to wrap around towards site, and they see Derek peek. Okay, that's cool. And then no one turns around to play anti-flash, because you would assume, you know, in like Western CS, all right, flashbang's going to come through, he's going to peek the corner. Even before the first peek, there's probably a flashbang coming through, and he's going to peek around and look for a kill. So he peeks once, they don't bother to turn. He peeks a second time, and they still don't bother to turn. But because in that situation it worked out for them, I wonder if that really reinforces those bad habits of not expecting a flashbang to come through to finish you off. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about that, Dinko?
Yeah, I think utility usage, there's a few teams that are quite good at it here in this region, but for the most part they do lack it. And in terms of, okay, they use flashbangs, but do they use them correctly? Do they get the flash assists? And for a lot of the teams, it's no. We see incredibly low numbers. But I don't think that's just an Asian thing either. I think there's scenes that have an issue with that in general. I think over in North America, they're probably one of the worst regions for it in terms of, you know, outside of the top teams in America. Because I remember casting some of the qualifiers for a Pro League event, and some of the sort of lower tier NA teams used 3 flashbangs in an entire best of 3 series. Like, what is going on?
What?
It's unbelievable. What? Yeah, they just don't use flashbangs. And I remember reading
Smuya said something
Smuya said
about
an interview, right? And he was like, okay, my 1.3 at rating doesn't really matter, because when you take a look at it, no one throws flashbangs, so I can just peek everything, take fights. So yeah, there's a whole issue in terms of teams just not using flashbangs. I have no idea why they don't do that.
I mean, we even did see sometimes, Mitch, you know, when he gets thrown in from pits so he can peek, over towards our side. Well, it doesn't really catch anyone in some of those moments. Well, unfortunately, we are still waiting for a player to join the server, having some issues, I think, with his PC. So what we'll do for now is, you don't want to hear us talking. I mean, obviously, we are the ones delaying the game. We're going to head to a break here. When we come back, we'll be kicking off the first map here of our first series with Tyloo up against Bren.
Stop.
See, it wasn't that long of a break. We are going to be back into this first game. I'm getting word that everyone is back on the server, and we should be getting underway with Tyloo up against Bren. First map, just going to double check it from my side. It will be Mirage, and we'll see if Bren can, well, I guess, kind of redeem themselves from yesterday, Mitch. They had a very tough time in their first game up against Mazalai. Ended up losing that, giving Mazalai their first victory overall within the tournament. And honestly, with Bren on 1 and 3, if you could pull off a victory here, like, that would be fantastic. It would really get you, your first steps to potentially avoiding the bottom two and potentially being knocked out in the group stage alone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were talking about Bren the other day, right, when they were playing versus Mazalai, saying that, and the same for Mazalai, that these guys need to beat the top teams if they want to have a chance of moving forward. I mean, they've lost against a lot of their peers down there below, especially Mazalai, who, like, pretty much only have their hard games left for the most part. And it's it'll go a long way if they can take down Tyloo to actually getting them to the playoffs. The problem is that it's Tyloo. As we start out the pistol round, you can see, okay, some good kills going their way at the start. Pro baits them in as Csgo trades out. Player pushes through bench, and that's a really solid pistol. So it's not just the fact that it was a load of scrappy pistol fights, but Csgo, Pro goes out from under wood. They tag him up. He starts falling back. Csgo's there to take the angle. I didn't spot who it was, but they came through the smoke over a bench. And then they have this beautiful little crossfire to play on these guys who are focused on that one player under wood, but they're running into two players there, plus Derek, I think it is, just based on their positions. Yeah, Derek comes through that smoke. You see him here, look. I mean, they've got a beautiful little crossfire. I love it.
Well, I mean, even the two players in towards Shadow, I mean, having Pro there off to the side, I believe he got dinked down to like 1 HP. But then Csgo just, you know, peeks around the corners. They can keep consistently fighting from that angle. The other person's reloading. I mean, I think there's a little bit of a gamble out of Bren, maybe a little bit of a read, but it works out well for them. And now Csgo gets the first kill in this round. Tyloo with just the pistols. They have some smoke spot up. But not a bad start here for Bren. The only question I have is how long can they maintain this kind of form here up against Tyloo? I honestly don't know what I'd say if Bren like convincingly beat Tyloo in this series, because I feel like I just, you know, I've been hurt too many times in the past. I feel like that's the Bless syndrome, you know, always being hurt, always getting his hopes built up, and then just for it to come crumbling down. But obviously it's just one round. And this is just a pretty much save round. Oh, well, not even a save round. They did force up, but it looked like a save round.
Summer's got to ace it. So realistically, this should be the end of it. He needs a little bit more damage. Already got himself the headshot. Goes for the plant. Please don't ace clutch this. I don't know if I can handle that. Molly down. Summer's pushed in the open. He should be pushed by the MP9 taken down, as happens, and the defuse easily able to come through. They'll save over the rifles as well. At least 2 recovered, so not in the worst of spots. The main thing is that Tyloo are going to be on an eco in the next round, and that's the huge bonus that Bren get. I doubt that, well, I mean, considering the damage they did, they could go for a force buy. The bomb plant, 3rd round loss bonus because of the initial start losing the pistol. But I think they're making the right choice, just taking some more pistols and hopefully doing some more damage. If Summer doesn't get a deagle, I don't even know.
I mean, Summer could almost even go for an AK. Okay, so he goes Deagle. I was gonna say, I mean, they did like a pretty good amount of damage, right? Killing off 3 players. Maybe they want to force back up and keep the aggression against them. But we're gonna see the full rifles coming in for Bren. So they're gonna head over towards the B site. Pretty quick pace as well as somebody. Going for the flash over. Maybe he's trying to fake it out for them. I'd imagine this is gonna be pretty much a fake for him, though. As we can see, it's gonna be a commitment towards the B site. 2 players here, Derek and Jaw. Derek's looking for some good nade damage. Actually, might connect quite a bit. Only hits, I believe, attacker. Molotov thrown in. They're going to try to push through it. And well, Jaw doesn't even get caught looking the right way. And Derek's going to fall as well. The B site's going to be taken. Now Bren is in a ton of trouble.
Bomb has been planted.
Yeah, they've given 2 rifles to their opponents. They're retaking B, close range versus pistols. They invested fully into rifles in this round. You can't afford to throw them away. And the decision's being made, Jason. They're saving over these weapons. That's one hell of a fast round for Tyloo. One hell of a quick win. Bren have got to be kicking themselves, man. So there we see the kind of storyline. A lot of damage done in the previous round leaves Bren to buy up full rifles. They have no SMGs even, no bonus weapons. It is full investment down to 0. As soon as they lose the B site, they lose 2 players. Even at that point, if they manage to retake and win the round, they've already lost. The Tyloo got a bomb plant, which is a huge bonus. They did damage to players that are going to have to force up in the next round. But now those players don't even have weapons. They'll have, like, FAMAS at best.
Well, then we need to see that individual step up for Bren. Maybe it's going to be Csgo, who's already on 5 kills. This is going to be a tough round. I mean, you can see attacker just sitting on the FAMAS. Like, they're not even, you know, buying up anything past... Oh, at least for the 2 players just slowing attacker. They're not going to bother to buy up. So you have 2 players on 4K. So I wouldn't be surprised to see an op coming to light for them into the next rounds. But there you go. Dan King's going to fall pro with a good connection. That was over towards mid-window. It's a good first step to taking a round back for themselves and really disrupting Tyloo here. Attacker goes for the battle, takes down Papachulo. That was leave over towards the A side. So it leaves A a little bit weak, and you can see Pro is still sticking around in towards middle. Trying to play on the edge of the smoke, maybe looking for a hole. But the A side's left open, and I think Wits is hearing maybe even the rotation through.
Tyloo definitely looking in towards the B side. Somebody's got a player in the window, trap. There's one done, slowly, not ready for a second player, but there's the problem with the weaker weapons. Not going to do a whole bunch. And even despite the HP, despite Summer and Attacker being a lick away from death, they'll take the round. And pretty cleanly at that, 4 players surviving.
Okay, that's only the 1 kill coming through. A little bit unfortunate for Bren there, but again, this is kind of, I guess, turning into more of a normal style, right? We're expecting Tyloo to win this game. We're expecting him to win it probably 2-0. I didn't ask for predictions, but I think before the show we kind of had our own thoughts on it. Not too bad of a round here, and even 4 alive. I mean, Attacker's low, Summer's low. Attacker's obviously going to upgrade, so it's not too big of a deal for him. Bren, we're really hoping for some more economic damage, because now Slowly's on 7k, Attacker's on 5. Oh no, somebody. We expect a player towards his left? I don't think so. Look at this, he slows the pace down. And yeah, there's no way he's going to expect all of these players, so he will give up the 1 gun, but that's all he's going to give up is the hit onto the A side. It's completely clear. Everyone's rotating in for those kills. The bomb should be planted towards A momentarily.
There's the bomb being planted. And eventually, that took a while. And so, Tyloo, I mean, I don't necessarily like the strategy of blitzing it up short. You're not really against that much. Your players are about to execute into the A side. I think you find the first kill and then you just maintain the short control, back off through connector and play the A side. This is a round where Bren don't have a lot. You're not really going to get anything for killing them. You're not going to take anything away of significant value. Dan King's making the right call to back off, having already taken damage. Attacker's pushing forward essentially by himself, but slowly is in towards the apartments to provide, I guess, some cover. And quick headshot as well. I was surprised to see Slowly's actually given such a huge role when it comes to the next map at Train. When we saw them previously, he's playing solo towards B. He's the one that's pushing up the ramp and trying to get in people's phases. And that's, you know, as the new guy in it, it can be a position that you don't get the super important roles, because that can define not only rounds but how the game goes as well. But we saw him be so successful. He's very smart in knowing when to go forward and when not to, which is really fun to watch. I'm excited to see even their CT side here on Mirage. I think if Bren want to have a chance, they've got to be pulling this up to 9 rounds, maybe even the double digits.
I even go for the double up here, and I don't know if that was something they wanted to run off the bat, like, you know, part of their game plan up against Tyloo. But I always do get worried about teams who play double op on maps that you're not used to seeing as much. I know you can obviously see it here, but then the teams who rely on double op setups, and when they fail, they kind of don't have a plan B sometimes. And I would love to, you know, maybe see some aggression, maybe challenge Tyloo in middle, not give him that full control. You have yet to see Tyloo, you know, go for any window plays. I feel like we haven't seen that many overall in the tournament, actually. You know, not a lot of boosting towards window, whereas, you know, if you have, you know, Fury or 100 Thieves, they're going to do that almost every round they possibly can. But there we go. Papachulo gets the first. No smokes left for Tyloo, so these double ops could be massive, but it's whether or not they can hit their shots ideally.
That's what it all comes down to at the end of the day, and somehow Dan King's able to just walk into the A site, take 2 kills. He's got the bomb, and still going. The shot missed by Wits, and that's what we were talking about earlier, the inconsistency, the offer that you just can't rely on to hit those shots, even the easy ones. He knows he was coming out.
Yeah, I feel bad though, like, the thing is, like, there was so many moments yesterday, and I swear it was like the observers wanted to show us every time he unfortunately failed. Like, even towards Palace, there was a round, right, on T side, where there was a guy playing like super up close towards T-spawn, and he slowly rounds the corner and goes for the shot. He misses the shot, and they end up losing the round because of having that player there. Like, there are so many instances, and I feel bad for Wits, and again, I don't mean any, like, you know, ill will towards them, but when it comes to these, like, high-pressure shots, when someone's in your face, and you need to basically shotgun op them or kill them with the op, he doesn't seem to hit those shots. And I feel like he's been in so many of those situations now that it's going to start to cost them not only the rounds, but potentially maps.
Yeah, I think it already has in a lot of instances. I mean, even look versus Mazalai, they could have come ahead, they could have won. A couple more hit shots would have resulted in a map going their way. Because we were close. I mean, the game versus Mazalai was 16-14, so 30 rounds, overtime, and then 29 rounds. So that can literally be defined by one player.
Even Overpass, they're up 15-10. And then he was the one who kept getting aggressive in towards toilets, even against pistol buys, and then he would get swarmed, he would maybe get one max, die, and give over a gun. And they ended up losing a lot, like the first, like the start of the comeback was to pistols. And again, I mean, we're not trying to be negative towards in particular, it's just, you know, if you put someone like Annihilation, I feel like he's more of a consistent opper in higher pressure situations, and he's definitely an explosive opper. Does that change the entire dynamic of how Bren played? Does that take him to another level? I don't know. Maybe there's more to Wits. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too harsh. You know, maybe over the course of today and the next coming days, we'll see him to really kind of hit the level he knows. But it's also tough to know or to try to opt without teammates to support you at the same time. Like, no one flashing you in around a corner. It's very difficult. What was it, Dan King we were talking about? They're kind of just like, all right, just go peek. No, it wasn't Dan King. Who was it? I'm talking about yesterday, where it's just like, yeah, go peek. No, Destroyer. There we go. Yeah, just go peek that corner and try to get a kill. You know, we're not going to flash for you. You just try to do something. And at some points, you know, Wits doesn't get the assists for that. But the whole time I've been talking, actually, we're seeing a very close round here. I did not expect this to happen, considering all they really had were pistols and, I think, an op and a rifle. But Bren bounced back. They should have been more focused on the round.
Got their talk game. But this is, it was a decent round for Bren. I didn't expect him to walk away with that one. I gotta say, I was with you in the same camp. But here we are, 4-3. Bren putting up a little bit of a fight, but as I said, for them, they really have a chance. You know, when they swap to the T side, I think they're going to be locked out. Tyloo have pretty good CT sides. In general, I don't think you're going to be able to isolate any of these individuals, really. I do think this is one of the easier series, though, just considering the inconsistency that we've seen from tanking. It probably makes it let me try again. Probably makes it so that there is a little bit less pressure on Wits, especially with Jad taking up that secondary op. He really didn't do great yesterday either. I was excited to see Jad because he had some really good starting games opening in the Oramore series, but coming into yesterday, there was a map where he finished with 4 or 5 kills. I think in the in that last map versus Mazalai, the 16-13. As I said, in scorelines like that, one player, one slightly better, slightly worse performance really defines it. I don't know how Jazz managed to lose that.
He saw somebody just like kind of shoulder peek initially. He knew there was someone there. It's gotta hurt. They lose the B site too, and the money's not gonna be there another round here for Bren. They're just gonna save. One player goes down, and that's it.
Bomb has been planted.
It's a problem, right? I mean, you know that's going to happen, right? That if you die in apartments, your team's going to save. That's the knowledge you come into this round with when you just glance at that economy and how you're set up.
I'm not going to hate on the angle he was holding, at least, because I think if he holds further back, then they're already in the site by the time you die. At least if he gets 1 or 2 kills, he can buy time for like a rotation to come through and help him out.
Yeah, I think when he sees the shoulder, he can run back and use utility, or if he's 100% confident in hitting that shot, he stays. Problem is, right, even with the AWP, if you're in that position, you haven't got anyone there to support on utility. When you fire that first shot, there's probably going to be a second player swinging around. They're going to expect an AWP to be there, or be ready for it at least. And the problem is you'll probably get traded. If you do, well, you're done. You know, the round is again over, but you've got 1 kill for it.
Well, because they say at the 4 guns, though, they're going to keep Jaw At least he's going to drop himself over an M4, so they will lose the double up setup. Again, attackers on 10k already, slowly on 7.5. If Bren are able to take a round, it's not like they're going to be able to bankrupt Tyloo until a couple more after. And they're going to get aggressive towards underpass, and I like this. I like this aggression coming through. Papa Chili is playing anti-flash. Somebody's going to peek around the corner, and he immediately nopes out of there. You can see Bren doing the exact same. Smoke comes through. And so, no, they're not going to expect this. There's no way they'd expect somebody to push up on this. This should be at least one kill.
Right through the smoke,
What?
but he was ready. His brain is just too big. Papi Chulo grabs the kill. A second was found elsewhere by Pro. Got lit down to 6 health, but they've got a 2-man advantage. They've lost the A side. Smoked out, another one goes in towards the connector. They should be able to get over there and plant. The only issue really is Derek. They've got to deal with him. Now as the smoke start to fade, they've only got jungle. You're going to be worried about a connector push. The flash allows Derek to peek. And it doesn't get connected, but he at least got Summer. That's the end of the round pretty much. Tanking 1v5. It's just not happening.
I think that failed underpass push. Underpass push.
It's early.
Super early. I think that's what caused it. I would have thought he would get the kill. Heard them running away. I think that was Pro who was there actually picks that one up. I mean, if he gets that first one, I imagine he almost gets a second. The A side's, the pressure's going to be relieved. And Derek, I am legit confused how Summer goes for the plant and no one covers him from CT. They didn't expect someone to be there on Bren's side, but
well, the flash went through, right? So maybe they were pulled back by the flashbang. Although it didn't connect to the bomb planter. Could have connected to one of the other players.
Well, I talked about not being able to bankrupt Tyloo for a couple of rounds. It seems they might have been able to do so. Slowly's on the 4, Attacker's on the 3, and there's only 3 players left remaining. It's only a 1-man advantage now for Bren. But look at that. Dan King's gotten in towards window. I talked about this before, right? We're not seeing a lot of teams in this region use that as a pivot point, but he's going to be able to sneak away around from jungle. He's got somebody there in connector. Slowly, if he gets this kill, if Papachula gets this kill, he can just kind of retreat into T-spawn and buy time and hope that Pro can stay alive because they're not going to check this angle. Pro now knows they're in behind him. That's looking good for Bren, but you have to hit your shots. Pro only gets 1. Papachula's going to fall. And now Pro, well, he gets a second kill, and that should be the round done.
It should be slowly. The newcomer, he's the one that looks to clutch it, tagged on the crossover, but looking for CT, catches the headshot too. As Jack goes down, now a bomb plant and slowly looking. Oh no, the shot through the box to close that one out. He almost had the 4K, the 1v3, but unfortunately not today.
He shouldn't have ever won that 1v3, I think, to be honest. I'm really confused when the guy peeks him CT when his teammates smoked off towards jungle. I would have imagined they kind of pushed them together. Nice shot of Derek, though, to close it out. He also rescues the op, more importantly, for Wits. Again, Wits a little bit slow at the moment, 3 kills. You got Papachulo on 10. On the other side, yeah, pretty like even. I mean, Summer's on 8. Their lowest is 4 on somebody. But I think they're going into their last buy. Actually, well, I can't even say last buy run because of what they lost the last 2. They're going to be a max loss bonus very soon. And if they get a bomb plant this round, even if they lose the round, that should be a buy up in the round after. So, like, Bren, if you're going to win this, do it without a bomb plant. Maybe get another one under your belts after that. And then you're looking, already 7 around CT side. Like, this isn't bad out of them. I think yesterday, if I remember correctly, they only had 5 rounds, actually, against Mazlight. Now that I think about it, on CT side. And yet they've already been able to match that against Tyloo.
That's an impressive uptake in performance. We look towards a fast B execute. Chow up close. He's good for 1, but how many more can he get? He needs a flash to come through, needs some support, but he's caught with a nade in his hand. As that departs, so too does he. Derek, got to be pushed up close. He tries to make an angle his teammates can support him from. Gets underneath them, and Summer caught in the back. Had no idea what day of the week it was. Pro on a double, but it's all for Attacker now to pull off a 1v3. Good headshot. But still lots more to do. The AWP on the site, and he catches him as well. The peaks one after another, offering up this situation. Attacker has an op that he can retrieve, and honestly with the HP, that might be the better call. Problem is he has to cross out, expose himself to short where Papi Chulo currently resides. Attacker clearly suspects that as he moves to the site. I want to see if he picks up that op.
He still hasn't. Okay, Papi can't see the bomb, right? So he actually doesn't know if Attacker could be going towards A now.
But he's sticking here. He's putting all his eggs in one basket, and it seems to be paying off. Hasn't yet spotted him, but there it is. Eventually connecting it. Now, again, another close clutch, though, for Tyloo. Considering the investment they're making, getting it down to those kind of situations is pretty decent. They came in with 2 pistols in that round. I think the only downside really is that this is Tyloo, and they shouldn't be finding themselves in these positions because although they got it close in that one, the other ones were with full rifles.
I mean, they've won the last 3 rounds straight. And yet, if you look at their money, it doesn't feel like it. They had back-to-back rounds with only 1 player surviving. They didn't save the ops. They had to buy it back up. Poppy's on 3.6k. Somebody, I'm getting a little bit nervous seeing him push up connector like this, and Poppy's gonna be hit from the back.
Well, again, a situation for Tyloo where they shouldn't be winning this round. I think it will require something close to a miracle for them to come out on top here. Just Summers Deagle. He was good versus some of the weaker buys, but it ain't happening this time around. I mean, Bren are doing pretty decent, honestly, with 7-5 if they win one more buy round. If they can win this one right here, they're already in a pretty decent position over. Like, they're in a good, they have a good half. They've actually got a chance to take the map when they go to their T-side. I still think they're going to struggle T-side, but honestly, considering we talk about the firepower of Tyloo, that's when I match the team up and say they'll dominate their attacking because they get to play as a team. You know, you got 5 players that are all individually better, and they play on the attacking side all together. Well, you're in a lot of hot water. But somehow, some way, Bren are showing us some of the best Counter-Strike they've played so far.
I do worry, though, when it comes into the CT hub for Tyloo. I mean, obviously getting to play together as a team on T side, but their individual skill and prowess, and with Bren, as we saw, you know, not like flashing each other, at least properly, but also a lot of times not really getting the flashes in the right positions or using them. I feel like it's going to be hard to take a site without Tyloo taking down, you know, 2-3 people before they fall. I mean, we're already seeing the 1-on-4, 1-on-3s that ends up going down to the 1-on-1. Very worrying sign, but you obviously can't knock Bren. More rounds already against Tyloo than they were able to get against Mazalai. But also, there's still the point that Tyloo could technically take this half still. And the money's not really there considering they're going to be up by 2. Derek's not able to peek in. Slow? What?
Well, that's...
Window, short window?
That's just ridiculous. This is the Tyloo we expected, and slowly, he almost won a 1v4 previously. Now he's just won a whole round by himself. Things were going well for Bren for a split second, but blink and you'll miss it because they'll lose the round.
Oh, man. So he kills one window, kills one short, and then kills one connector. In the matter of like a second, it felt like. Oh, we saw Wits from the other way around. This time he hits it, though. Do they really want to chase this, though? They don't really have much money. And again, neither do Bren. Oh, don't go in there, Wits.
Gotta hit the shot. Nope. Op retrieved. Of course, it's Dan King to win that fight as well. And so 7-6 we go. Still a possibility for Bren to pull this off into a decent half. They can pull up to 9. problem is, once we get out of this, take a look at their money. It really isn't going to be great. Having just started to lose rounds, they're rocking them at like 3K on most players. 4K. So, really pulling out a convincing buy is going to be quite difficult. They're going to have weaker weapons. That's 100%. There's Chulo. He's the one on the drone, one of the Bren players. Swift eyes for his accuracy at 31%. Again, I wouldn't judge accuracy based. I don't think it means entirely the same thing. It's percentage of shots that hit a player, but it's not always your objective. You're not always in an aim duel. Obviously, you're spamming a lot of the time through smokes, through walls. So it's not one-to-one.
If there was chickens on the map, trying to kill those. Maybe that's just me.
Somehow I feel like the pros aren't quite doing that.
I swear, the chicken hitboxes sometimes really tilt me.
Dude, sometimes you shoot a chicken, you see the blood, and it's still alive.
Yep.
Running around. What was that? Armored chickens.
Buying themselves up Kevlar and head armor.
Subscribe, guys.
Tyloo going out for some flashes in towards middle, trying to be careful of any aggression. Nice little incendiary to block off any sort of underpass aggression. But it's going to be the big play. I mean, they got 4 players in the vicinity, trying to peek out somebody, peeks into underpass. He somehow gets really far out before being taken down. Helps split the attention out of Wits. And now slowly, he's got bomb. He's up towards the top of mid. They have the A site, but they need to rescue him. Poppy's going to be pushed into this one. Should be a kill coming through for him. And that's a bomb down. This should be an 8th round here for Bren.
That's a big shame for Tyloo leaving the bomb top mid. When they've got the site, when they're going for the control. They're going to be splitting into this. Some are looking to move through window, attacker from behind. They should be, oh, yeah, they should be 1v1s. Thing is, once Chulo falls to attacker, if he does, immediately the swing's there for Derek. They know he's there. Yeah. Back down to 1v1 in the end, and Derek just spun around. He took the kill on Summer, was ready for the connector play. 8-6. And Bren actually doing the work. They're pulling this one all the way back, one more round, and they're set up for success in the next half. And I'm impressed with what we're seeing. Where was this team versus Mazalai?
Yeah, I think that's why it's sometimes so hard to know who else in the region is really good. I don't know. It's just like one day, you know, Bren, they're currently 1-3. They lost to Mazalai, who was 0-3, and now they're beating the best team in Asia in the first half. Like, how do you even gauge who, you know, in the region, who's going to be good and who's going to be bad?
Yeah, that's a good point for sure. The transitive properties, as you were saying, sadly don't quite weigh up. And in general, in Counter-Strike, you know, that's the way it goes, region to region. You can't just say this team beat them, and they beat them, therefore, or A beat B, B beat C, therefore A will beat C. That's not how it works. But as a general rule, yeah, at least 50% of the time it's going to be accurate. Here, 0%. You cannot assume anything.
Well, you know what to say about assuming. Maybe the 9th round going to be coming up here for Bren. Only scout for Wits, unfortunately. I mean, you can see the damage being done economically coming out with Tyloo on the better buy. You get the entire A site, and this should be an 8-7. Jaw.
Bomb has been planted.
I mean, the SMG, I think you heard attackers around the corner. And there you go. That will be the 8-7, but still Bren getting more rounds here than they got against Mazalai in the first half. Now Tyloo on the defense. It comes down to how well here Bren can play out the rest of this half, and if they can somehow take these rounds and take this map. This is Tyloo's choice, funny enough.
Now, with that half behind us, I mean, we're looking at a situation that it isn't terrible. Look, realistically, I feel like I'm sowing false hope. This should be quite clean for Tyloo. CT side, should look decent. But I'm getting worried just because Bren have done so much more than I expected from them in the first place. Like, to see them at 8-7 at the halftime, see them winning that half on their CT side versus Tyloo's attack, I did not expect that to go anywhere near that close. I said Bren needed 10 rounds, but that was never within the realm of possibility in my mind. But they're not that far away from it. And the T side now will be a definitive factor. Even winning out this pistol could throw them miles in the lead. You remember the CT side will often take a force buy, then you're facing an eco afterwards. You can go 3-0 up. A minute left on the clock as they make a move. Molly. It's like liquid gold in these rounds.
Oh, Summer. He peeks in, gets information. Attacker, though, oh, they're not even going to check him. He gets one. There's one that pushes through the smoke. They have to know it, and he's still going to hit the shot. Oh, no. It started so good for Bren. It felt like Derek coming back in. Slowly, he's going to be in dark, and Poppy's left alone with the bomb already out of his hands. He retreats away at the P250, but funny enough, there's going to be a player in spawn. And there you go. That's a pretty clean round for Tyloo, considering the amount of ground they gave up.
Now, Tyloo's CT side should look like a well-oiled machine. So just like Black. As it's, you know, at the end of the day, as I said, you're not really going to be able to catch these guys off guard as individuals and then get them as a team. I love this from Attacker. He like shoots, he's like, oh wait, you're my teammate. Sorry.
And then he finds the guy later on. He's like, oh yeah, I thought I saw someone else.
I love somebody's just a little flick and like the second where he just looks at the dude. It's like target acquired.
Wait, he's like, yeah, I bet there's a moment of hesitation where he's like, wait, what side am I playing again?
Read T side?
I mean, I've had that happen where I just like, I forget I'm playing T side and I see it like a T and I'm like, oh my god. I try to shoot him and then I realize, you know, after I get kicked from the game that I was on the wrong side.
Jason, I'll be honest, I could probably list a lot of reasons why you never made it in a professional gaming career.
I have.
What?
I played professionally.
You played professionally?
Yeah.
In what game? Tetris?
Left 4 Dead 2. I was on the best team in North America.
I don't know if you're meaning, are there actually teams?
No, I got frag videos, yeah.
There's teams in Left 4 Dead?
Yeah, I mean, there was back then.
Well, how does that work?
What do you mean, how does that work? Yeah, no, you do campaign, and yeah, of course you do versus. You ever played Left 4 Dead?
I've played Left 4 Dead campaign.
Yeah, no, you play versus. So you go 4-on-4, there's survivors and there's infected. And as infected, you try to stop the survivors from getting to the safe house.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, super fun. Super sick. Honestly, super fun. Yeah. You get like a tank every map. So you have to like try to kill this beast that you control as well, or like the other team controls. Super good.
Okay.
I'll show you some frag videos after.
Fair enough. I didn't even know that was a thing. Fair play.
Yeah, I mean it was a little bit in Europe as well. Come on, Valve. Come on, Volvo. Give us Left 4 Dead 3. But I know they don't do things in threes.
Oh man, Half-Life 3 is coming though. Alex sort of confirmed it. Alex definitely confirmed it.
Hey, no spoilers. I haven't played it.
So, yeah.
Attacker. Attacker. It's okay, never mind. I thought it was going to be way more beautiful than that. He was in such a good position.
I mean, good trades back. Summer manages to take down Derek. It's now into a 3v3. Bren got that mid-control, but they're giving it up. Moving towards the ramp. It's only one player. If they take down Dan King with an MP9, it should be the freest round of their lives once they clear this close corner. They haven't had the control. They haven't been watching it. Dan King hasn't... It's not like he's gotten good timing. He's just pushed forward into a part of the map they weren't controlling, so they should be aware of this. They should be clearing it as they move on forward. If they don't, that could be the end of the round immediately. Dan King looks for the first, and he only gets damage. Quick rotate needs to come through slowly, needs to run quite quickly, but he hasn't got mid. Bren had this earlier, so he takes his time, clears it out. Now realizes, okay, no one's here. It's a little bit too late. They're already crossed over. Somebody's late to the party, getting on to watch the cross. What's that? Why, Wits? Why would you do that? He takes a 1v1, does no damage. And now it's low HP on Ja. That man's just crazy.
I was surprised to see somebody even peek that, considering it's just a 2-on-3. There's no chance for a refrag. They already knew he was there for the initial shot. Oh, somebody. This is going to hurt if Bren can't clutch us out. Pro looking to live up to his name and slowly will finish it off. It's a very close round. But a round yet again going over to Tyloo. They're going to get themselves to 10. And Bren have yet to get around here on the T side. I did hear, by the way, that half of Alex was amazing.
It's unbelievable.
And it shows how good VR can be.
Yeah, definitely. It's so immersive. It's just spectacular. Well, unfortunately, what I've discovered is that there's an Alien Isolation VR mod, and I never made it through the whole game of Alien Isolation because it's so damn scary, like seriously anxiety-inducing. But I now really want to play through the VR part. Yeah, but I heard it's like the worst, like physically the worst VR experience of your life in terms of horror, because it just scares the SH1T out of you. That's the thing, though. I feel like horror especially is going to be so good in the future, and even now with some games, because if you imagine Outlast in virtual reality, like your subconscious thinks it's actually happening. So you get so immersed in it, it's crazy. Here we go. Somebody got a big challenge. Players coming up close. There's a kill. He doesn't back off just yet, but all the players are blind, luckily, so he's not punished. The jump out to sight. One by one, they peek him, and one by one, they fall. A Mac-10 even taken up afterwards, slowly providing the covering fire. And it looks like that's the end of somebody, but still down to a 4 versus the... Okay. There we go.
He gets 2 kills at least. Not bad, but the problem is the round still goes Tyloo's way. This is what I was saying before. Like, yeah, I think we both kind of expected Tyloo to do better on T side. But one advantage Tyloo has against most teams that Bren will ever play in this region is that whenever they do push into a site, they're going to lose multiple people. Like, the aim individually out of these Tyloo players, like, they're going to be able to compete. And you see slowly somebody have a nice crossfire set up here. You're not going to be able to cleanly get into a site against them, at least for the most part. You're really going to have, you know, some fantastic utility usage to really smoke, you know, off some angles. Flashes, obviously, the Molotovs on top of that. Can't peek before the smokes are down. And they lose 2, they lose 3, they lose 4. And Derek will probably follow thereafter. Tyloo will get themselves down to 12.
But yeah, if you have VR, play Alex. Unreal. What I will say is that they said there were not going to be any jump scares. There were at least 2. I did not appreciate them, especially because I was told there will be none. Screw you, Valve. It's also like, I don't think it's scary. I get like, I was scared during a lot of it, but I don't think it's supposed to be scary. Like there's some moments where you're like in the dark and you need to use your flashlight, and that just doesn't sit well with me, not at all.
I remember like one of the first times I played Beat Saber on VR, and I got scared of the walls coming at me. I don't know if I could handle a horror game coming.
Oh god, yeah, you'd be dead.
I think it was like my ex. She was like playing, and she like literally would like sit down on the ground, or like whole body like crunched together because she was so afraid. And like I don't understand, but she doesn't close her eyes. It's not real.
Yeah. But that's a normal thing. The guy I was watching playing Alien Isolation, he was talking all about it. He said he constantly dropped to the floor just out of fear.
Just paralyzed his body like those goats.
Yeah, it's just like your brain doesn't understand that it's not real. Like when it sees some gigantic alien that it knows kills people screaming and running at it, it's just like, oh no, I'm dead.
I guess you find out if you're a fight or flight person.
Yeah, true. I mean, I've played some FPS games where I flinch when I get shot in the head. It feels like it's actually coming for you. It's quite interesting. Yeah, we're here 12-8. Bren are taking some very slow mid control. They're just chatting over it, but they're looking to move into connector eventually. Push the players out. They've taken down somebody. Lit up attacker massively as well. That's a great start to the round for Bren. The nade down won't return anywhere near enough damage. 25 seconds though. They've got to make a move, and the B side is where they look to execute into. Slowly is here. He's been having one hell of a hold alongside
There you
Danking.
go.
The full HP players, 16 seconds, coming out the window, one already to sight. On his way through, though, the bomb has dropped 10 seconds. They've got no time. They can't get it done. What a disaster for Bren, as slowly shut down that bomb. Danking takes one from afar. Oh, they did everything right in the mid-control. They found the picks, they did the damage, and then they just ran that clock down even further. That's a shame.
They needed to push way quicker than that. I mean, they looked so good. They did early damage. They got an early kill. Attacker had no HP. They also shown that when it comes to hitting that B site slowly in summer are just this beast. Playing off each other so well. Danking rotates in and he's able to get kills as well. Still, this half has been flawless for Tyloo and now Bren. I mean, they got money to spend. They can buy up, but can they get the kills? Can they get the rounds? A site seems to be their best bet here, unless they're gonna get some set smokes put over on the B site. Look at that, Danking, 6 direct duels won, wits 0. That's very unfortunate at the moment. I mean, his ADR is not that far behind, but to be able to, I mean, we saw Danking like over towards B hall, to apartments when we saw Bren on T side. He wins the 1v1 battle against Wits. Just peeks into the corner. Looks like they will head towards A. Yeah, Mac 10 and Galil to pair up with their AKs. And there's only going to be one defender here. It will be Summer sitting back towards C2 spawn. But the 2 players towards Connector really putting that pressure and that presence Tyloo in towards middle. And oh, Danking, he spotted out one. Smokes come in. Again, they're peeking before they bloom. They're actually even smoking him off. I'm not sure what's going on here. But they will start to win the trades.
Subscribe, guys.
They're pulling ahead. Bren need to be careful of Attacker, who's just up above on the stairs, able to pick off one, looks for the bomb planter, gets him as well. Up close to Connector, at least the trade should be possible as the smoke fades. Pro's undetected. Gets one. Now they know he's here, though. Swinging back out, it's going to be difficult. Attacker in position, watching for him. Good nade lands on him. An Attacker with a third, looking for even more, but Derek shuts him down. Now on 37 health, though. The AWP more than enough to finish him off. 14 for Tyloo, even despite a good start in that round. For Bren, that was just all about Attacker on the 3K.
11K money for Summer, and yeah, Attacker on 24 kills. Like this is insane. This is ridiculous. They didn't even have smokes for CT. They smoked off Connector. That was it. Stairs didn't get smoked. Jungle didn't get smoked. I mean, forget the AKs. Go to Galil's then. Get those smokes down. Get that post plan. I mean, maybe they're not fully confident in their post plan holds, but you can't just walk into a site against Tyloo. It's not going to work. Double ops coming through for Tyloo. Still somebody in Danking. We got the AKs. Yet again, Attacker's going to fall. They know they like to get aggressive, so good presence of mind out of Bren to continually Molotov and shoot in that direction. It's not the first round. Attacker gets dropped low. Slowly, I just feel like this is going to go so bad for Bren for some reason. The position he's holding. Okay, never mind. I jinxed it. Bomb's still back towards the top of mid. They have a 2-man advantage. This surely should not be a round Bren loses.
With the rifle rounds, Slowly and Attacker have been the ones that have pulled out the massive individual plays. So I feel like this should be Bren locking it down. Without those guys to come through and just absolutely tear it apart, you're relying on the double op setup. It's going to be easy enough to force them into saving once they don't find too many opening kills. And already the shot and miss there on top of the boxes by Danking. Luckily, Bren's ticket isn't being cashed in just yet, but they run one at a time into Summer. What's going on? They just keep doing this. Giving every opportunity away. Look, one by one they go, Jason. Can we please peek together, Bren? What are you doing? You had a 5v3. Why? Why? Slow peeking the AWP here. Usually that only ends one way, but luckily pulled off the angle, so at least it will get a bomb plant. Oh, Jason, I'm losing my mind. Bren have thrown this round away completely. It looks like they're determined to just not win around on the T side. At least one shot there for Pro. A 1v2 now. It's workable. It's doable. Another shot, and the pistol finishes him off. So close.
You believe?
So close.
There was a moment. I could hear it.
I was starting to have faith in Pro, but that's a round they never should have lost. I mean, what is that? One player to go to B, one up connector, then another one up slowly, then one comes around. Like, what are we doing? Like, even look at the commitment there on the A side. 3 players came up Colin. They got flashed. One continued to CT, one went jungle, one went back and went up short. It was like, as soon as they got, it's like in a movie, and then someone charges, and as soon as something happens, they just run away. Like, everybody just goes to chaos, run in different directions, do different things. It's definitely not a well-drilled machine.
Oh, this could be it here. They're not checking underpass. Attacker pushes up. He's going to pop the first. Gets the kill. Pro's going to turn around and doesn't hit the shots up against Attacker. And then, do they need anyone else to accept Attacker here? 3 kills.
The man lives up to his name. I'll give him that.
What if there's an attacker and a defensor on a team?
A defensor?
I don't know.
Not a defender.
It's early.
A defensor. Pretty sure he called them defenders. Oh no.
I'm pretty sure we call this a map victory for Tyloo. Wits 1v4, nade directly on him. Molotov as well, he pushes out.
Oh, Wits, not again.
Yeah, I know. Flashbacks. PTSD. And he's still not going to have a chance here as he peeks in towards... Okay, he gets Dad King. I was going to say that should have been an angle held. But he still has 3 players to fight. He luckily has the bomb. But all 3 players are right around him. He has a 1v1 up against Summer. Spots him out. There's a player towards short. Peeking with the flashbang. Gets the first and the second. Wits! Maybe I called it too early now. Up against slowly in the one-on-one. He's going to have time to plant. But he only has 8 HP here. 1 bullet out of slowly will finish this off. Oh, don't cross. Don't cross. Oh, my. Oh.
So at least now he knows where Wits is, right? He knows he's on the left side. Could be Sandwich, Underwood, Palace, or Ramp. He's got to clear out those angles. Or Tetris. Got to clear out those angles. It's going to cost him a little bit of time. 20 seconds on the clock. He's got 15 to get on and start defusing. Looks like instead of clearing them, he's going to just tap it. He's going to bait that player into the open. Nope, he's not going to tap it. Instead he clears the corner. Now he's got no time. The Wits has won this. Wits, you won it. Oh. There's no time, right?
No time.
Jesus. Yeah, there's no way Wits knew he had that. That was like 0.3 of a second. So as to why he peeks out without hearing the defuse being tapped, I will never understand. But that is another great attempt by Bren to throw around.
See, this is
but also a fantastic clutch.
Yeah, so this is what kills me about Wits. Like we said before, right? Like he can be like insane. He has those moments. He stands out and pulls off plays like this.
It's nuts.
But I would love to see the consistency for it. Time and time again. Like that could take Bren to another level, and that unfortunately is only their first round on the T half.
Like if they were stood on the bomb, if that player was stood on the bomb, he would have got the defuse on time. That's the crazy thing. It was like entirely down to position, entirely down to luck that actually paid off. No, not paid off, but that they won the round. And for Wits, it was a big risk with no reward. Molly, they're going through it. Not too much damage taken. Good opening duel. Bren getting control over the A side. Only the op left. Summer gets 1. Into connector he goes in through the smoke. No, he actually faded out further. And Dan King was able to take down Wits in the meantime, but it looks like the whole side of the CTs is falling? Question mark. Papachulo is 11 health. This could go their way. This desperately could, as Poppy's left all by himself. He's got to pull off a 1v2, Jason. This could be it. This could be the end of Bren, and indeed it is. 16-9. Tyloo take that map, and a pretty convincing CT side as we expected.
Yeah, they lose only 1 round. Not bad at all here for Tyloo to really show. After that, wobbly, kind of questionable first half on the T side. They definitely locked things down, especially towards the B side. Like, dear Lord, Mitch. Watching, was it somebody and Summer, or is it slowly in Summer? I can't remember off the top of my head now because there were so many great plays. Just like locking down every single time. I could think of a moment out of the entire team, out of every player for Tyloo that really shined. And it's also shining. It's going to be Dinko coming in as well as Blen. I'm going to talk about Dinko first because, again, look at that face. Look at that smile. The hair is so perfectly groomed. What was your thoughts on that match, Dinko?
Well, I think coming into this, Tyloo obviously were the massive favourites, but I think Bren did a pretty good job in the first half, and then we went into the second half, and my god, that was a turnaround from Tyloo. So as they got on that CT side, there was just no getting towards the bomb side slowly. It was incredible. We've seen a good performance from Dan King, although not near the top. It was Attacker actually taking that top spot, and I think Attacker has just been consistently good for this Tyloo roster, so this is the Tyloo we like to see. When they got on that CT side, they were just dominating. I don't want to highlight slowly because he's a player that many people wouldn't look to as being one of the top players in this Tyloo team, but for a lot of the statistics across the board for this tournament, he's the 4th highest rated player in this tournament. He's got the 2nd most damage in the tournament. There's so many other statistics that he's leading the way in, or close to leading the way in this tournament so far, and he's not one of the players you usually see in those positions for Tyloo, so I'm excited for this roster. They've got a lot of depth.
For me, like on the other side, right? If you look at the side of Bren, it's kind of pointing the 8 rounds only able to get round on the T side. That's not going to be good enough at all, obviously. And then again, Wits and Ja at least has his moments. Wits being a primary opper, he had that one clutch, the 1v4, well played. But apart from that, he was pretty much absent from me throughout this entire game. And it's not just the first time, right? I've seen this coming out from him again and again. I don't want to harp on you need a roster change or something, but for Bren, it seems like this is the one team I have to point out. And there are a few players available in the Philippines. One player that comes to mind is a guy called Dubstep. He used to play in I think the Mineski team a year ago, and he's probably one of the better operators in the Southeast Asian region. Maybe the lineup change might be what they need. Obviously, not going to do that right now because in the middle of the tournament, but it's just not enough. And looking at this Bren lineup here, especially the loss to Mazalai, I'm starting to have my doubts. Like, you can't call yourself like the 2nd best team in SCA and be at risk of getting knocked out of a 10-team group stage. So it's dark days for Filipino CS at the moment.
Yeah, and on the note about Wits too, I mean, it's easy to point him out because of the role he's playing, right? If he was playing support for the team, we probably wouldn't be talking about him as much. But because he's the opera, and we've seen how a dominant AWP can be here. That's why it's so easy to pick on him, but to really kind of keep him in the forefront of our minds. But, well, you talked about Attacker before. You're a Dinko. 104 ADR, 27 kills. And what's kind of funny is that in that second half, it didn't really matter how many players Tyloo had left. I felt like, to me, that there was always that chance that they can still win the round, and I think they proved it so many times.
Yeah, I think Tyloo clearly just so much better on the individual level. And I think I agree with Bledge in terms of they need a roster change on this Bren side. I think they just don't have enough firepower. That was the one thing I was kind of scared about coming into this. We just knew Tyloo were going to have that advantage over them. So no matter what Bren do, and in fact, they're actually really good at opening kills. Wits is actually the top opening kill player in this tournament so far. He's had 36 openings. He's also the best AWPer in terms of the kills that he's been able to pick up. Obviously, Bren have played a lot of rounds, so that's kind of skewed a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, Wits is doing quite well on this opening kill front. But the issue is, for me, you've got so many opening kills and you're still losing those kind of rounds. So that clearly shows something wrong here for Bren. And if Tyloo are going to be able to pick them apart coming into the second map as well, this is going to be rough for Bren.
Well, especially if Attacker continues on his pace, he's going to be the MVP of that last map of Mirage. And if he does this again, I have no doubt in the back of my mind we're going to be seeing him another time after map number 2. 9 multi-kill rounds, 27 kills in total, and 104 ADR. I do kind of worry, though. I mean, I don't know if that's a sign of Bren playing well or Tyloo not playing as well, but that T side was uncharacteristically, and I say that, really kind of slow out of Tyloo. It seems like most teams we've seen always seem to have that stronger T side, Blah.
Yeah, they do, but that's the thing with Tyloo. Like, that CD side, look at that play from Attack just pushing up apps. Was that how you really played a CD side? Hyper-aggression is Tyloo, and I feel like sometimes they just intimidate and even bully teams on the CD side. So I think they're one of the few teams, they don't necessarily play textbook CD side or textbook T side. It's very different, depends on the opponent's going to be facing off against. But like we said, I feel like Bren also fed them too many kills. There are a couple of rounds, Mitch, you were also kind of losing your mind there. It's still early in the day for you, so I wouldn't really worry about your mental stability at this point, but it's still early in the day. That's why you kind of tilt off when Bren gets the opening kill, and they just walk in one by one, just giving free kill to Tyloo. The spacing was completely off, no trade potential whatsoever. So it felt like Bren made Tyloo look better than they should have on that map. I feel like Tyloo still were looking a little too loosey-goosey for my liking. But if your opponent's going to give you so much space to work with, it's going to be, well, Tyloo going to grab it with both hands. And again, Tyloo, they're a team who played their opponent's level, right? They play scrappy CS against some of the scrappier teams, and against VG to just steamroll them. So it is Tyloo. You know what they're going to bring to the table, and if you are their opponent, you need to really up your game. You need to play the best of your ability. And I feel like this is not the Bren we even saw yesterday. It was a scrappy game which you managed to pull up, but I feel like Bren yesterday had more life in them. I guess that's the word I would use. And going to train, I start to worry for them right now. I feel like this is going to be a clean 2-0.
Well, we will find out if it will go to the 2-0 for potentially going to have a third and final map come into the cards. We'll see you guys after a short 5-minute break here for map number 2.
Train 地图往事。错综复杂的6道和内外场，将 Train 这张地图分割成了大大小小众多区域，是战术大师们所热衷的地图之一。2015年的 DreamHack， 大表哥 Kerrigan 围绕着 A 点，凭借冷静的操作，完成了一波令人叹为观止的1v5，天马行空的打法思路，证明 CSGO 是靠脑子才能玩的游戏。视野开阔，风险与机遇并存。Glaive 曾在这里利用地形优势，凭借一把 AK 以1敌4扭转乾坤。
Coming up a Glaive with a quad kill, shutting down G2.
地点高低坡的地形给了双方充分的战术选择空间。2017年 PGL 克拉克夫 Major 中就先有紫眼平台前配合队友，顺闪1v4刷屏。
The flash is perfect. That's a triple spray. The quad. Oh, they can't do it.
后有 Waylander 高坡下使用手枪完成1v4，立刻还以颜色，精彩瞬间层出不穷。
Oh my God, Waylander! 4 kills just like that with a single pistol.
战术向来为人津津乐道，本次亚洲的选手们又将上演怎样的龙争虎斗？让我们拭目以待。
And we're back here for PAL 2020, the Summer Asia RMR event brought to you by PGL, as we're about to kick things off on map 2 of our first game of the day. It's Tyloo up against Bren, and it's currently a 1-0 lead for Tyloo as we make our way over towards Train. Mitch, you are looking lovely today, and Train, it's going to be Bren's choice. I don't know what you being lovely has to do with what we're going to talk about. How do you feel like this map's going to go?
Absolute stomp for Tyloo. After what we just saw, I don't have any faith that Bren are going to be able to pull this one back. The 16-9 was an 8-7 CT side, and then with the exception of one insane clutch by Wits, which he nearly threw away at the very end, they got nothing on the attacking side. When you come to Train, we need opping power. Bren do not have that. We need tactics. Bren do not have that. We need a well-oiled machine. We need team play. Bren do not have that. So I really don't think if Tyloo win out in every single aspect of the game, for them to lose this map would be insane. If there was any hope of Bren winning, it was really map 1 and 3 that they had to take. So I think this map should be more of a formality, unless Tyloo decide that they really want to play super sloppy.
Well, and also, if Bren chooses the map, that means Tyloo's going to choose the side. And Tyloo's probably going to choose CT side on you as well. So any rounds that you get here for Bren, they're going to be super important. I think more important than normal for most teams, especially on the T side. With how dominating Tyloo already looked on Mirage CT side compared to their T side, it's going to be a tough map nonetheless, but I do hope Bren has something up their sleeves because I want to see them progress further on the tournament. I think they have, those signs of life. Some things need to be ironed out, maybe some firepower still going to be missing within the roster. But here we go. Tyloo, CT side, Bren CT side. I'm already going to see... Well, I guess Kevlar bought up for Bren. I'm curious if they're going to buy any utility behind this to go for an inner hit. That's generally where we do see the bomb go most times. And it looks like we're already having a tech pause off the bat.
I think in terms of roster changes, the thing I'd like to see for Bren is getting in, especially because they're playing most of their games online, getting in a coach that can act as sort of an IGL and keep them in check. I'd love to see them. Obviously, it's never really feasible for this level of teams, but geez, if you get them to Europe for a couple months and get them just scrimming against some good tactically adept teams. I mean, look, the reality is when they play versus Tyloo, versus Vici, probably Tiger as well, realistically, I guess we would have expected, they should get stomped. And they need to get stomped a couple of times, a good couple of times, so they can really start to realize, okay, our version of Counter-Strike is not working. We need to adapt. We need to take a new approach. And then scrimming versus European teams would be a great way to get there. But unfortunately, it's not really feasible. We're on their T side. They're moving out to the side already. And blitzing out on A with their smokes, blocking off a lot of these angles. They've managed to get up close with the Glocks, but the fights are not going their way at the start. Derek does his very best to pull it all the way back. The fade through the smoke just as the reload starts. And Ja with an absolutely huge double opening.
Left Poppy now. And the 1-on-2. Pop, oh my. You shouldn't be able to win this. They have the pincer. The quick little turn gets the first kill. He's on 7 bullets left, 6. He's got to be very careful. The reload comes through. Somebody's going to get some ground from this one. The burst fire even trying to come through. The shot's being rattled off, and somebody just overpowers him from the top. A triple kill for him. And Tyloo will take the pistol.
Yeah, a nice close round at least. So we already saw the tactics being deployed by Bren. They know their smokes. They have their ideas. Now, the reason that we favor Tyloo so much in this map is because we have no data on Bren. They haven't played it in a long time. Last 3 months, no history on HLTV. And picking it is definitely a risk, considering the fact that Tyloo are no strangers to this map. But you have to imagine that as they've chosen it, that they've seen something, some opportunity there. Maybe it was the game versus Invictus that Tyloo failed to close out. Maybe it was the 16-10 win over D13 that Bren think they can do one step better than. The problem is, a team like D13 have got annihilation, so I'll accept a closer scoreline versus Tyloo because he can do so much damn damage. But when you look at Bren, CT side, where's the Alping going to be? I feel like that's a battle Tyloo win pretty much every time. Tactically, Tyloo win. As individuals, Tyloo win. So I don't know what Bren have got in store for us, but it better be some next level stuff. Because if you come in just playing a good train versus Tyloo, you're probably still going to lose. It needs to be an amazing train.
Yeah, I mean, I think not even a great train. Just thinking about, you know, Dan King picking up the AWP on this map, the potential as well for the double up. Just based off that fact, and as we mentioned before, like Wits kind of competing against that, hasn't really been able to stand out across the other operas we've seen so far in this tournament. But either way, we're going to see control going to be gifted over to Bren. Attacker, I'm a little bit scared for him because they actually been able to push up against him and catch him off guard. And Summer still manages to get one Dan King response with a kill into pro, and it's still going to be the 2-on-2 where it was looking pretty decent for Bren. You got the bomb train. You got the bomb making its way here. Dan King needs to be Molotov'd off, so he can't even assist into this.
I don't like that. Wish true. He's keeping the scout. Why is he keeping the scout on this health? He should have the AK. In fact, that would have been a kill had he have had the AK. The amount of time he had to respond on that one. Now Jazz got 10 HP, has to hit a headshot. I mean, you might as well have the scout in this kind of position, right? But he can't spam the smoke with a scout. As he goes looking for the diffuser, there's only 5 seconds left on it. He might think the player's pulled off, but at this point, oh, he's so close. But he can't hit the headshot. A 10-second diffuse inside the smoke. That is heartbreaking, and then Jad dies as well. Although he will still get the money due to them getting the bomb plant, what he doesn't get is to keep his weapon. That is not around. Bren should lose. They had it in the bag, and I guarantee you 99% of teams in that situation with the scout player on 90 HP and the other on 10 will swap weapons. I was waiting for them to do it, just watching and seeing them walk further and further away from each other, wondering why that wasn't happening.
You know, I don't know what there is to necessarily say about that. 10-second defuse. A clutch out of the round again. I mean, it looks like, again, we're having some tech issues on the server. Not sure exactly why. I think, yeah, Tyloo did drop a player. And hopefully Summer comes back, because I'm not ready for winter. And Tyloo definitely going to need him. They continue this pace. I am worried, though. Like, the fact is, like, their CT side was all right. On Mirage, they did pick up, you know, some good rounds, 8 rounds. Like, they're able to get the better of Tyloo, but their T side hasn't been able to contend up against the individual skill and more importantly, I think the crossfire. I feel like Tyloo seems so well drilled in the angles they're holding. Thinking back to Mirage on the B site, way slowly in Summer just kind of had a crossfire set up, and whenever they did rotate positions, like the other would switch up his angle to match.
Yeah, you're saying about you're not ready for winter. I don't know what the hell's going on here, Jason, anymore, because one day it's like 25 degrees, the next it's 10, the next it's 2, then it's 25 again. I don't know if it's going to be a lashing rain or if it's going to be beautiful blue sunny skies. I hate this country.
Well, I mean, I'm happy that it's cooled down a little bit. They don't believe in air conditioning here, and something worse than sweating all day in a chair.
Yeah, it was very hot in that first week.
I hate showering 3 times a day.
Yeah, I was doing 2. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. I was just so sweaty after broadcast. Yeah, it's a nice temperature now. In Ireland, anyways.
What is it there?
I don't know, it feels nice. Let me see. 12 degrees at the moment.
That's
peaking up to 18.
Nippy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is 7 a.m. It's obviously going to be quite cold, but yeah,
I do keep forgetting that because I was waking up at like noon or like 11 to 1 p.m. ish.
Yeah.
Before this, So then whenever I wake up, I'm like, oh, it's already late in the day, and then you know, we finish our first series. It's still like before 10 a.m. normally, and I'm like, what?
Now so today we're gonna get 18 degrees Celsius with 93% humidity.
93% humidity?
Yeah.
So you like just drink the air practically?
It rains a lot here, so the humidity is always pretty high. Although generally it's like 1 degree, so it doesn't matter. It's just cold. I wonder, does that also make, if it's cold and there's high humidity, does that make the wind worse because it's also droplets of water? I imagine then if there's like a heavy breeze, you'll get even colder faster. I don't know.
It'd hurt your face just being hit by like small little pieces of ice.
It's getting eroded away.
Well, we're reacting to the game. Looks like the Summer has rejoined. Got his PC sorted out. Yeah, it's 2-0 for Tyloo. We're going to see Bren on some pistols. A little bit worried, though, because Sully has some aggression. He has some confidence being built up. And then he does catch on to Wits and Jaw and takes Wits down to 59. It's already softened him up, but they're going to leave slowly to defend the inner side by himself. You still have Summer to rotate in. Attacker there as well, both just holding this drop down. And there's a chance Tyloo can get the bomb down here, to be fair.
Yeah, the chances are there. They're taking it really slowly, but we're not seeing anybody start to push up on the A side, I think, understandably, versus this kind of buy. I like the change up from slowly as well, that he's playing back B. Previous round he pushed up that ramp, got decimated. And now it's a much more passive hold up against those pistols. Molly down with 40 seconds, he's trying to really run the clock out. But they're coming in through upper, and he's all alone. They're going to have to concede a bomb plant realistically. Here come the smokes, here come the flashes, they know now what's going on, a little bit too late. Bomb's crossed. No, bomb hasn't crossed, it's only coming now. Oh, that's a bit risky. Luckily, still makes it there. Should be planted. And from that point, I mean, Bren have already got a good round. Now let's see how many more kills they can manage to clock up. They need to do some damage. The USP out for attacker. I don't know about that one, buddy. Papi Chulo, sneaky beaky. He's on the flank looking for some victims, and he's got at least one there. Maybe a second with low HP. Summer goes down, but the bomb's just being stuck. Nothing he can do about that. Oh, it wasn't actually. Somebody came off it to look for the kill. He obviously didn't have a kit, so he couldn't just stick it all the way down for 5 seconds. That was great damage though, Jason. I mean, overall, that round is so good for Bren.
Yeah, I mean, they get like big kills. Even like Poppy, just in terms of confidence to come around, get the 1D, get a second 1D on a Summer. On up to close out. And I mean, obviously, close isn't going to win you rounds here for Bren. And when we saw that happen on Mirage too. Like, they had a 5-on-3 that they kind of peaked one by one into and eventually fell. Same thing coming out of B apartments multiple times. They don't need close. They need dominating, I almost feel like. It's just barely beating Tyloo. I don't think, even if you can take the map, I don't think you can really, oh my god. Well, that was definitely dominating for Pro. But I don't think you can barely beat Tyloo in this series if you're Bren. You got to have that dominant game. I think it might come down to, you know, eking out the rounds and you know, maybe winning 16-14 or something. But on train, they need some pickups. They need some big plays. They need someone to step up for them.
That is what's been missing so far. So we look in towards the B side. We talked about Slowly's aggression, how well timed it generally is. It didn't pay off in the second round, which is 1-for-1 trades, but now he's got a chance to catch them off in upper. The push is coming down the ramp. 4 players at least, maybe the 5th as well. He's been spotted though. Now he's in danger of the push from up behind. Caught with a molly out. It's a free kill to Derek. Slowly harassing them on the side, making sure they're lining up for attacker. Gorgeous stuff. As Jazz left alone, the AWP recovered. He's in a molly, has to push to the open, but gets killed by it. Yeah, that harassment by Slowly made sure that they were on that side of Grade Train, so when Attacker peeked through, it was just easy pickings.
Like I was saying before, like their crossfires just seem to be like really spot on. They know how to get in the right position to make that work. This shot though, you didn't even see him. That's a really unfortunate. But again, like Attacker, like just the plays, just the game sense to always hit them from angles they're not expecting. John, unfortunately, the fire will burn him up, but that was 3 players surviving for Tyloo. Looking to build up some sort of bank now, only some are on about 3K. We're seeing Bren with the buy-up yet again. The utility is going to be so important, and a nice flashbang does force Dan King off the angle. They have 3 players committed towards Ivy. There's crossfire already set up for Tyloo. And I'm hoping they have a flashbang. I'm hoping they have something for this, where Dan King is just going to slaughter them.
They've got utility. He's dodged it at the start. That goes his smoke just to block him off. Nade, some damage done. No kill off the back of it, but Slowly, oh my god. And then Nade kept Wits back because he was 8 HP. He had to avoid it. Then Slowly's able to isolate the fights one at a time. As soon as Wits looks away from the angle, Slowly's in with yet another. And although you'll normally see him holding B, this time they left somebody there all by himself with a scout. And boy, oh boy, as it paid off. This was a pretty heavy gamble stack, and they've obviously read Bren's book. They know what's going on. As Derek's left all by himself. A lonely boy looking for a 1v4.
He's got the bomb. Okay.
He's dead now.
5-0. I mean, I don't want to call it, but I'm not trying to call it, but I'm a little bit worried we could see a 16-0.
Subscribe, guys.
Well,
subscribe.
go to him, Jason. You just ruined it now. It's not going to happen. When you say it's going to be 16-0, it's never 16-0. Just a guarantee. Unless it's 15-0, then you get a pretty good chance.
Is that the Mitchman guarantee?
It is. It's the Mitchman guarantee. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's early days. Bren must have something in store for us past what we're seeing at the moment. I mean, we've already seen pretty close rounds when it came down to just those pistols. I still have faith in them being able to potentially get up to 6 rounds. Like, considering the fact that they picked this map, I gotta have... I know in terms of predictions, we have to side with Tyloo 100% of the time. It would just be crazy to say, oh, well, they picked it, so they must be good. Like, no, that doesn't mean they'll win the map. This is their first real trial on train.
I mean, if that was the case, then whoever got first map pick in a series is, like, always going to win.
Why first?
Hmm?
Why first map pick?
Because then don't you get the final veto?
No, the second guy does.
Okay, well, then you want second map pick.
Oh, no, wait. Ban, pick, ban, and then second guy gets to choose of 2 maps.
Okay, so then you want second.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. If that's how it works,
then you're going to win
choose
2-1 every time. Yeah.
And if that was the case, we would only play... We'd just ban down to 1 map and play it. Just play best of 1. Be like, oh, well, if you pick a map, you're going to win it, so... You know, I wonder about map picks. I wonder with teams that have similar map pools, I don't think it makes a difference. I think it's like in football, home and away. People always say, like, oh, you're playing away, you've got a disadvantage. Statistically, I think it's like the very slightest of disadvantages. You'd never notice it. And that's one way to do it. Wits team killed, Slowly gets a double. A little bit greedy for more. But, yeah, the CTs only lose 1 player, so they're not going to be terribly disappointed. I think I remember reading before, like, home and away makes effectively 0 difference in games. What? People always say it does. Let me check the stats.
Watch The Last Dance. You like literally Michael Jordan talks about how when they had to play against Utah Jazz in the playoffs in their own, like after they lost game like 6 or something, they had to go back to Jazz's or something like that. Like they knew they struggled. Even his kids didn't go to the games there because they get yelled at so badly.
Like in baseball, for example, 52.6% of Major League Baseball regular season, it was 52.6% of home games won and 47.4% away games won. So it's like you can chalk that up to just a statistical anomaly, like the 3%. That's standard deviation. So at least in baseball,
I don't think you can when the sample size is so large, though. That
1,277 games. It's not that many.
I mean, it's more than the 30 you normally need for statistics.
Yeah, but you wouldn't expect it to be exactly 50-50 if it was an even chance.
So then you're agreeing with me that it is the effect, and you win more at home.
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, let's look into the round, because maybe we're going to see the first round here picked up for Bren. 6-0 start. Now it's the 1-on-2 attacker left alone. Pro is on low HP. Witt's got the full health. He's got bomb going down. Surely Bren will win this round. How did that barbecue get up there?
Yeah, I'm always wondering who's chilling up there. Those seats don't look too comfortable either. I guess people like to watch trains.
Was he going up into heaven? He's expecting someone to be there. Obviously, he gets a little bit of an Overwatch of the site. Smoke goes down. If he sticks this and gets it, I'm going to be so tilted. You got 2 seconds left to jump onto it, and he's going to get taken down. Pro gets a triple kill. And finally, Bren do get themselves the first round. They're going to need more than this, though, especially T-side train. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If I had, like, a force field in front of me, I would watch. I would watch a paintball, game from there. Cook up some hamburgers, some hot dogs. Have a couple drinks. Get some sun. It's not very sunny on train.
Jason, you want something interesting? It's just a random thing. I was just looking into it there.
You looked up something else, didn't you?
In different games, the percentage is different. So baseball's essentially irrelevant because it's so small that if you were to do it another 1,200, it might flip the other way because there's a certain degree it has to be out by. But with NFL, for example, it's between 55 and 60% of home team wins. So that's really interesting. That I guess it's the pace of the game.
Yeah, well, look at baseball. Yeah, it's super slow, and the crowd doesn't really have the impact. Because it's you cheer when there's a home run, that's about it, or you cheer when there's a strikeout. You don't cheer when someone's going for a play normally.
Yeah.
You always do it after. Whereas in basketball, you're gonna be screaming defense the whole time, and rooting for your team, even during free throws.
Mm-hmm.
If you're at an away game, you're gonna be screaming to make them miss.
Mm.
Well, speaking of missing, Summer's not going to. Now down to the 4-on-2, 4-on-1 Pro. That's your teammate.
Oh.
Pro left alone now, doesn't have the bomb. And, well, shouldn't really have a chance here in the 1-on-3. Gets shot from behind indirectly. Dan King spots him out, and Dan King won't get the kill. It'll be somebody. But again, another switch round comes through, and Tyloo get themselves up to 7.
Also, in soccer, it's even more so.
Oh, what's that?
What do you mean, what's soccer? You are American.
You mean football?
What? What do you call American football? Just American football? What? You call both football? Are you crazy?
No, call it American. I mean, in Europe I call it American football, but
see, for
I don't
me,
use the word soccer here. I've been here long enough to not know, or to know not to do that.
Yeah, but see, for us in Ireland, we call it soccer.
Oh, really?
Dinko will say no, we don't, but that's because he's not from Ireland. We have football. We have our own football called Gaelic football.
Okay, so the UK calls it soccer.
No, they call it football, right?
But you're in the UK, right?
Do you want to die? Is that what this is, Jason? Yeah, we have our own kind of football. So, in school, we're not allowed to have soccer teams. They wouldn't let us because it was an English sport. It was a weird thing.
Who wants to wake up at 7 a.m. on weekends to go drive your kids to play soccer? I don't.
Oh, well, for us, all the clubs are after school. No one's getting up at 7 a.m. here. What are you, crazy? Although I think we used to for Gaelic football, but that's besides the point.
Some deagles for Bren. And not really too much invested gun-wise. Oh, nice shot. Poppy Chilo's been hitting some sick shots with the deagle in this map so far. And he's going to pull 2 defenders over towards the inner site, which might allow Pro to get a bomb plant, but he's got to find Summer first. And actually, Dan King, never mind. He's going to be sticking around. Even Poppy's going to back away. He wasn't able to get aggressive off that. Maybe look to rotate over towards Pop. Summer's just holding steady, and it's gonna be pretty immovable. Oh, even Dan King watching this angle. This is so tough.
I mean, Pro should be dead in this one. 10 seconds. The nade even finishes him off. That's one way to do it. 8-1. Now, Jason, I feel like this is, it's just one of those games. Like I was saying coming into this map, it feels like a formality. You're hoping that Bren pulls something out of the bag, but the reality is it has to be beyond just a situation of, oh yeah, well they actually know how to play train, because even if they do, even if we'd seen them play it 5 times and do decently versus, you know, their peers, you're versus Tyloo. This is not a map where you're going to see, and I think I definitely agree with Fly when he said that he likes him in Inferno, might have been good. I think you'd see Tyloo tripping up there. They did, I think, the last time they played versus Bren there in January, but there's some good openings. This is a start to the T-side round. They need to win this one, and they're doing so, they're doing so relatively successfully until Ja falls. A 4 versus 2 nonetheless, though, so a very difficult comeback for Tyloo. Slowly's been huge. He's been finding 1vx's all over the place. Multi-kill rounds like crazy. Let's see if he can do it again. They're only bringing the bomb through now.
And a little bit hesitant to see where the last player is going to be. It's Dan King on the AWP. Pushing in hard scope. He's going to hear the bomb going. Not going to expect Wits to be there. And at least all Sully's position was already spotted out. So there should be a second round here for Bren. A hard-fought round. Yeah, you can see they're all trailed on his angle. Jumps across, gets caught. And there we go. 8-2 in favor of Tyloo, but Bren have been able to finally take a round. They're not able to break the bank too fully out of Tyloo. I mean, they've been able to get the extremely close. I mean, we see the double up not coming through out of Summer and Dan King. When you win this round, get yourself up to 3, you should be able to get to 4. Like, Tyloo should be on the save. And then, you know, 4 is pretty standard. I mean, I guess you need maybe a little bit more than that, especially against Tyloo. Again, I don't feel like Bren's CT side was extremely strong on Mirage. I think it was more Tyloo not being as good. Oh, love the Mag 7. I wonder if he's going to hold the angle. The up-close angle. The nade as well. Should catch Jaw. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, wait. There we go. Okay, nice flash. I thought they were going to kind of, you know, change up angles on each other or positions through the smoke.
No, not this time. We did see that yesterday, right? A couple times, actually. Yesterday was a bizarre day. It was in this game, it was Bren's game as well versus Mazalai. They were just slipping past each other. It's not often you see that either as a double op setup in SMG and a pistol. Certainly unusual. Oh, you're dead. Easy shot for Dan King. He looks for more on the push up close, and Papi Chulo is very lucky he got away with that one. Not every day that Dan King's going to be missing a shot like that. Summer goes down, and really, if these guys can get near those ops to save them, I think that's what they've got to do. Jag going up behind, though. Easy kill.
Oh, there we go. So signs of life within Bren. Again, the money's broken out of Tyloo. So Bren should be able to get to 4 from this. I think, you know, if you get yourself to like 6 rounds, you got a very real chance they're going to swap over. But again, it comes down to the op play in my eyes. Nice little flashbang again, the teamwork that we wanted to see out of, I guess, most teams in the region. And just, I mean, wow, nothing actually bought for Tyloo.
I like that.
But I don't think the round's necessarily over because they're all rushing through. Derek's got to hit some shots. And he gets 4 kills. There you go. He's got a little bit afraid that they're going to rush up and get like 2 or 3 kills, pick up the AKs, and still win the round.
Yeah, they've lost Pro. He got 1, Derek got 3. It was fairly decent little hold from them. And those are the kind of rounds you've got to play out if you're Tyloo on a buy like that. You try to rush forward, you try to do some damage on the pistols, use the numbers to your advantage because you definitely don't have a weaponry advantage. Although somebody makes it look like he does. Just want a heads-up duel versus Derek. Now an AK to be picked up, and he'll try to save this. But Bren have got money. They can hunt him down. They can look for him. They know he's got no armor as well, so even just hitting him in the body should pretty much kill him because he won't be able to return fire. There you go.
I like that little off angle too. Catches them trying to peek towards the top of the dumpster. And so Bren, they take themselves 2 in a row. They get themselves up to 4. Still want to see more out of them though. They still have, 3 rounds left to play out. Still a decent chance they could pick up quite a few more. And if they want to have a hope to take it to a map 3, they're going to have to. Derek, is he going to charge straight out? I mean, there's no op on the other side. He will get some ground. I don't think they're expecting him to be this close already, even though smoke's come down. Summers will be off to the side, and he does get punished. Somebody with the flash through on a Derek. Recover the AK. They keep the man advantage. And it's a little bit of a split here. 2 towards Ivy. 1 up and towards Halls. 1 down towards T main. It's kind of a shame because of how quickly, Derek went out mid. It didn't seem like there was a lot of backup. And the second he falls, it looks a lot like my matchmaking games where no one else, goes with you. You call for the rush and everyone else just sits back and baits. I mean, obviously not baiting here, but you didn't get the kills that they were hoping for to open up an outside push.
Yeah, see, it wasn't even necessarily the kill so much. Even if he just gets into Olaf, if he manages to sneak down green train, he's in a pretty good position then to cause some havoc as they push Ivy. He can open up another angle. But without him lurking around there or Olaf, you're looking at a pretty rough round. A fairly two-dimensional push. Not about as two-dimensional as they get. They're just coming out of main. Summer's up on top of the train. There's one on side as well. They have decent angles to play off of. There's one for Summer. He's full blind though. Really good flash coming through for Ja. The attacker returns yet another. He's now got support. Drop down to the site. I don't know, Bren with 20 seconds. Can they really get this one done? Pro's now super low. So is Ja. And in just a couple seconds, it falls apart. Tyloo with a solid hold. Good setup. And despite that one flashbang connection from Ja, nothing really goes Bren's way.
Hey, luckily they still have money from the clean rounds they had before. They're going to go into the op for Ja. Interesting that actually he's going to be using it over Wits. I mean, we know Wits is the primary opper, though we have seen Ja use it when they go for doubles. I mean, Ja, he's had, again, some good shots before, thinking back to their game versus Mazalive. Maybe it's just more of a spawn. Oh, spawns out 2 players. Of course, the angle's a little bit too tough, and he can't quite connect. Look how aggressive Tyloo are getting now. Summer attacker, I like this. Going into T-Con. No one's there to stop them. They're actually holding out towards T-Spawn, however. They might have read into this slightly. Oh, no. Okay.
There we go. Poppy with 1 at least, but he goes down right afterwards. The smoke, they'll allow the fallback. Summer's got tagged through the wall, did he? He's down to 12 health. He's sticking up aggressive. Mollied out. Oh, he made a step. He's dead. No, he gets away with this. He's got a safe spot in the mollies. Whoops.
Oh.
A little bit too hesitant, or a little bit too eager, rather, to move out. He managed, I don't know how he's still alive, dude. He was ticked off with a Molotov. They knew he was in there.
Saving Private Summer right there. Somebody threw his body out into T-Con to change positions, and he falls instead.
This could cause problems. I mean, with Summer so low, he probably gets 1 at most. So a lot of pressure on the rest of the team with 35 seconds moving in towards the A site. Summer still undetected. Dan King's going to try and distract them as they come on out of Pop Dog. Now look, there's 1. Oh, Dan King getting himself a double. That could make it possible. Slowly is in a great position to stop this bomb plant. 19 seconds left. Starts to move in towards team main. Moves back Brown. Stops. Oh, he can't get the bomb planter in time. The shot right afterwards from Derek. If he got that bomb planter, things could have went their way. It's just a second too late.
"30-degree window." I don't know what that means. I guess it's in relation to the op.
Yeah, I think it's a.
Is that the degrees you can see well scoped? Okay.
Probably, yeah. Single scoped, I'd guess.
Alright. I like it. They're coming up with new stuff. I like that. You know, they're improving the mini map every day. I mean, we got Molotovs now on it. Adding in some new names for Joni McDroneface, just programming.
Just waiting for Dinko to actually, you know, tell us the real name of the drone. We'll get it by the end of the tournament.
I don't think we will at this rate.
No. It's been
Just
let down.
named it after himself.
We could call it Dinklage.
Is that where he got his name from?
I'm not even sure. He was probably really surprised when he dinked someone for the first time.
I wonder where Blood got his alias from. I feel like I asked him.
I have a theory, but I don't want to say it.
Okay.
We'll
you know, when we're in break, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Last round of the first half, somebody's going to go for the flank. The bomb is down, and Jaw's going to be dinked up. He's going to fall. He has the bomb. This push is not going to work out now. The AK picked up. The Molotov is well in hand. Trying to keep Wits away, and Wits will connect the shot. A high-pressure situation. He comes out on top. In the meantime, is taking down Dan King and locks down this outside control.
There we go, slowly. Only good for the one. Attacker on the Deagle for a 1v3. Chances are pretty down low. The bomb has been planted now, so there's no chance of finding the player that's blissfully unaware, just planting that bomb. But oh, he almost had a chance. Almost an opportunity. 9-6 is how we finish it. Bren with a decent T side. Look, there's nothing wrong with that. 6 rounds is fine. How are they going to fare a CT side, though? That's the real question.
They lost 6 straight, 1-1, then lost 2 again.
Look at Wits. Wits has got 4 kills. It's going to have to go huge, really. Like, if they want a chance, Wits has to do well in the AWP.
Or maybe it's just going to be Jaw playing the AWP. I mean, we already saw them make that adaptation before. Again, maybe that was for the peak. But yeah, completely agree. We need to see him starting to step up. 4 kills is not going to be enough on a map like this when you need to have the op to depend on.
Too much Valorant.
Hey, I'm just
coming in.
I haven't said spike yet.
Somebody's at least found the opening with the classic. And we're looking at Ja trying to ghost his way to success. Sitting down on the B side. I mean, with the USP, he didn't stand the best of chances. If he gets waterfalled on, there's 3 players outside this side, 1 up above Pop Dog. This could be a very convincing push to the B side. Still utility to play with as well. That's on Summer. He's got a smoke. You can take away the connector player. I'm just looking at where these guys are moving, though. Oh, the step, Ja. You've messed that one up. They know you're close. They know there's a player far. That's the info to play with as they come down. Has anyone communicated the step? You heard him. Ja somehow gets away with murder. No one was even aware of that.
Oh, he needs to hit the shots, Derek. Oh, and Poppy doesn't even get a single shot off there. Jaw's left alone in the 1-on-3. No kit. He has a flashbang. He's going to be listening and watching for an angle towards CT, and he's going to have to change things up. He's going back towards connector. And you got Summer there waiting. I don't know. I feel like he's going to be able to secure this, or he's been spotted out. This should be Tyloo getting a 10th round. Even the Gooch coming through. They're just going to chase him down. They want this kill, and somebody's going to secure it. That's 10-6.
Yeah, not really the pistol round that Bren wanted to give away. The fact is now, with Tyloo on double digits and the CT side for Bren, I imagine this is going to be fairly clear cut. It's a force by now for Bren. That puts probably 12-6 on the board for Tyloo. All they have to do is claim this one. A scout, presumably for Wits. The rest of the players just on pistols. Maybe a double scout set. No. Okay, just a single. They're giving a deagle to Ja. I don't know. We need to see Wits hit some 6 shots here if they're going to have a chance. This scout is the pivotal part on a map like Terrain. I mean, you'll often see the double scout setup. I'm surprised we don't. Quite surprised, but I guess Ja's not feeling it. Got a nice aggressive hold. Well, actually, just looking at where Ja is, he's playing aggressive on ramp on B. So if you're solo B, you don't want to have a scout. That's for sure. And he afforded the utility to just drop a smoke. I don't mind this. I think that's a good B hold. They've got to stack up on A. I like the strategy. I like the setup. Let's see if it works now. Because it's all well and good sitting in the right positions, but you've still got to shoot them in the head.
All they have is the flash and smoke for utility, no kit. There we go, Tyloo making some moves on outside. Summer's gonna at least hear the scout shot towards connector, and well, like I said, he needs to hit heads. Doesn't seem to be going that way here for Bren. John Poppy left alone.
Bomb has been planted.
Okay, John, potential to get this kill. There you go. Hits the head. Gets a gun down, but Bren don't seem to, or sorry, Tyloo don't even seem to really care. The attacker's still holding his angle. The ump will be picked up, but this will be around again for Tyloo. They're just looking for exit frags. Maybe steal away an AK would be ideal, though I don't see Tyloo ever pushing into them.
No, and even if they do, like, it's only ever going to be the SMG, right? That's why we saw the UMP pushing forward in the connector. So they've given away an ump. Well, that's not really going to be the biggest of deals to them. As we go 11-6, Bren have 3 weapons for the next round. The 2 deagles, the UMP to be dropped over, or maybe the deagle to be dropped over because Ja has armor. So he's probably going to do better with that ump. I'd maybe buy up a smoke if I was Ja. Play solo B with the UMP, let the deals try to work the A site. There we go, he's got a smoke. I like it. Like your thinking, Ja. And again, I feel like Bren have got a decent understanding of this map already. We saw it on the T side. We're definitely seeing it CT as well. Look, exactly. Ja, solo B, with a smoke, with the UMP and armor, done everything right. Problem is, again, though, you're against Tyloo. These pistols have to show up massively. There's the opening build for Wits. Okay, starting it off well. AK retrieved. He gets naded to hell, though. Good spray by attacker, not able to transfer. Wits with another before eventually going down. That's great damage. I'm already happy with what Bren have been able to do, considering the round and how it started, considering the setup we've seen. But Derek brings it even further. Ja, able for another, and what is this? Tyloo surely not about to lose this round. 2 deagles, a UMP and a P250. And now it's a 1v2, slowly has to win. UMP does some damage to him, and he's up against Derek's deagle. Derek's moving forward, he's managed to get out to the bomb site. That bomb has to be retrieved. He doesn't have sight on it. But he's about to. Over on the right side, he's been spotted out. Good headshot, but ooh, he even finishes it off. It was through the train initially with that deagle. And the shot to the feet to finish him. What a round. This, I don't believe Bren have actually won that. And again, I want to commend the setup. A 4-man A stack. Zhao buying up the smoke, taking the UMP, playing solo on the ramp of B. And Wits did so well. I don't know how he managed so much from that position.
And also Derek with a deagle shot right there. Allows Jaw to push out pretty freely out of pop. We're still into the buy-up though to Tyloo. So again, it's not going to get easier for Bren. They do have the op for Wits. He's going to go for the early peek. Molotov comes in. He's going to sit inside of it. That's going to be a whopping 56 damage now done. Jaw even being shot before he gets the incendiary down. Going to smoke it off now. And Summer throwing in a smoke over towards Pop. Actually from towards T-spawn, trying to fake somewhat of an outer play. Let's keep 3 players honest at the moment, and we've seen this set up here quite a few times, but again, it comes down to hitting the shots, and Jaw's only able to get 1. Wits now, even the body blocking his op shot, so he can't even see the player peeking around. Should be going down here momentarily. Incendiary might buy some time. Yeah, that's a little bit of damage.
Wits in danger if he re-peeks towards oil, but Dan Keen's just tucking in now, ready to hold for the connector play. For anybody getting aggressive up close, Pro in danger. He peeks the angle, not ready for it. Dan King on 1. Wits comes down. What? Great headshot by Dan King. What a connection. And a 2v2 now. Derek pulling it all the way back as Summers left alone. They drop a smoke on the bomb. They're going to go for the defuse. Summers going to have trouble dealing with them. He's got to find the first kill onto the player that's not defusing, but he doesn't be able to take him down above the smoke, and that is it. An 8th round for Bren. Oh, we could be in for a series here. And Bren are putting up one hell of a fight, and I gotta say, I don't have criticisms about their train so far. Their T side was decent. They managed to put up a good fight. Their force buy handled really well. That full buy right there, great performance by Derek, pulling it all the way back. Even despite Dan King's huge play. Look at this shot.
That was
nuts.
Yeah. That was like a 3K for him, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. And it seems like maybe there is a reason Bren decided to go towards Train. Maybe their CT side is that strong. To be fair, Mirage, it looked pretty good CT-wise. It was when they were attacking that they were struggling. Derek, oh, he might be overrun here. Flashbang comes through, sets him up for a second kill. Again, I mean, we might be harsh on Wits a bit with AWP, but his flashes have been pretty good on this map. They set up his teammates for some kills. He's done the Summer and somebody. They got the Deagles. I think Bren are going to have their cleanest round to date. Of course, just as I say that, it now means that somebody's going to get like 3 kills.
I do think it's very easy to just look at the scoreboard after game, especially if you identify the opera and go, ha, he's bad. But the thing is, you know, it's not necessarily always about getting the frags. There was a point where I remember a couple of games for NIP back in the day where Exist was getting like 4 or 5 kills and they were winning. And everyone was like, oh, get rid of Exist, he's trash. Like, you go on HLTV, all the forums were just, Exist, noob, get him out the team. It's like, you're so dumb. Like, without Exist there, they probably lose that game. If you put someone in that gets 15 kills. Because the rest of the team probably wouldn't. They wouldn't be set up the right way. That's the thing. I think, you know, obviously if you're Wits, if you're a primary operator, it's not necessarily you can fall back and say, oh, well, I was, you know, leading the team to success other ways. Your opera probably shouldn't be the one that's coming through with the most utility usage. I do feel like it's very difficult for Wits in a lot of ways, though. One point that was made earlier I wanted to expand on was the fact that Wits finds a lot of opening duels. Okay, how does he do that? Posts on an angle, waits for the peak. Why does he get them? Because people don't use flashes in this. But why does he struggle so much in the mid rounds? Well, because, as we said, people don't use flashes in this level of Counter-Strike. And the issue is, his teammates are not setting him up for success in that sense. He's finding it much harder then to go in for those fights in more aggressive positions. Look at someone like Simple. He's out running around with an AWP, just shooting at everyone. The team are helping. He's getting his flashes. If he's going into a position like he's pushing from short on Dust 2 to mid, someone's going to flash through. He's going to have blinded opponents to peek into, or at least they'll use it to push players off the angle so he can post up. For Wits, it feels very much like he's just in a DM sometimes, having to go up against people with the AWP, and obviously your success rate's going to be a lot lower in that scenario.
Kind of similar to like Destroyer, as we were mentioning.
Very much so.
You know, peeking into Kaze, it's not going to be easy. If you don't have a team to help you out, then you shouldn't really be getting those kills most of the time, and you can't really be mad at him for not doing that, for not being able to. So moving around 21, nice little double drop down, but Derek, that was his 20th kill of the map so far. Eliminates them, and Tyloo was starting to struggle and train. You know, I would have thought after Mirage, this should have been a relatively easy map for them. Bren's CT side is starting to prove strong, and they don't even really need the effect of an AWP so far.
And they haven't needed it at all. And Derek is having a blowout series. I mean, at the moment, he's been responsible for a lot of rounds when it comes down to those light buys with the Deagles. The round directly afterwards, where they shut down the B, or they get the B retake, where he double opened it, trading back his team completely. Right there, they come down Pop Dog, easy pickings.
I mean, I feel like Tyloo probably should have traded that kill, though.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But I think the fact that Derek's putting himself in these positions where he's punishing those mistakes from Tyloo again and again. I mean, there's 3 rounds now where he single-handedly pulled them from having little chance into having a pretty significant advantage, keeping them alive.
Mm-hmm. Oh, with these pistols, what do they do? Do they rush in her? You got some utility behind this, so they could set themselves up for a plant.
3 smokes, so it could be an A hit. Depends on... Oh, it could be Ivy. Okay, that's the last one I would have guessed, but we'll see how this one goes.
I mean, Derek, he's been on form, 20 kills. 2 towards Pop last time. This time he's going to be holding towards Ivy, and they actually just start to back away. I wonder what the call was, what the decision was to just say, all right, this isn't going to work. Maybe they were expecting some aggression out of Bren, and they wanted to get that early kill.
The smoke that got dropped by the CTs as well just made them bail out of there. Didn't want to participate in those sort of shenanigans. But they've shown presence, right? That's going to keep the 3 players towards the A side. The problem is they're still walking into a fairly decent stack on B, and Wits is here with the op. He's holding aggressively, ready for them to come through. There's another opening duel for the man himself. Most openings of the tournament, and he bails on out. Plays on the back of B. The smoke will, well, should stop them. The nade. Oh, that's going to do some damage. Slowly now, nice and squishy. Jat finds one even blind, and yeah, this round is hopefully over if logic is prevailing. Yeah.
Quad kill for Wits. All right. I mean, he had 3 kills at one point, I think it was, that you mentioned. But he's definitely stepping up when they need him to. And that's kind of what we said. Like, we need, you know, maybe that standout player. And I think we've had a couple of rounds where it's changed who that person's been. Derek has done extremely well in a couple of rounds. So has Papachulo. Jaw as well, up to 17, and finally Wits gets himself a quad kill. And Tyloo now on the precipice of going down, losing their lead. And now I think there seems to be confidence in Wits' side. Look how aggressive he's gotten. Just burn a little bit of his health away. They slowly made their way in towards Olaf, now going in towards Green Train. Smoke's allowing them to get this extra ground. This is, I think, one of the first times we've seen them get this far up on the outer bomb site.
Summers at least opened it up, giving them a chance. Great shot by Slowly as Wits falls. A man advantage fades from Bren's control. Pro's giving away his position. Drop the bomb though. It rotates fully on their way. The push through the smoke catches him off guard as Papachulo puts it to a 1v2. Attacker, no info remaining. He's got to take his time clearing out these angles and getting back over towards that bomb. Time he gets there, smokes are going to be faded completely. And the CTs are going to have a really strong angle on it. Sees one, but he's not ready for the second player. Jumping up on top, here he goes for the bomb. Oh no, the little sneaky play to the middle of sight, but again, that second player, they weren't ready for Ja. 12-11. Bren take the lead now on their CT side. What a time to be alive.
Look at the money too. I mean, they can lose out in like 1, maybe 2 rounds and be okay. That second shot out of Pro, I want to say it's a little bit lucky, but I mean, that was a small little thing that could have changed the tide, could change the outcome of that round, and we're going back to the pistols for Tyloo. No double ops coming in. Wits gets the shot onto attack, even while blinded up. Let's get out early and gets punished, and they're going quickly in towards Ivy, and Derek's already waiting. The spray comes through, 2, 3 go down. And it looks like Bren are going to go up 2 here now on the CT side.
Here's the full buy coming through. If Tyloo lose this, I think we're seeing a third map. The CT side from Bren so far has been solid as can be. I really didn't imagine that this would happen. You know, we talked in the pre-show about maybe Bren have got something prepared on train, but it's very difficult to side in their corner just because we don't know. And yet here they are. They're showing us that we should have believed from day one. The poll has just concluded. No doubt that's Tyloo having a discussion about how they want to approach this as they come into what could be their last chance at winning this map, at least without hitting overtime.
Well, Dan King's on the up, and I think he's out for revenge. He's going to go over towards Ivy. I imagine they're going to just, run boost him over to the side. If Wits goes for the shot, could be a bit of punishment here. But Tacker takes down Papachulo. I think goes over towards Pop. He just rushes straight down. They're tired of losing him. Tired of gearing things up, and Wits is pushing up aggressively. He does get at least the 1 kill. I didn't even expect him to get that, to be fair, considering what the position slowly was. Tyloo maintained the man advantage. Derek, yeah, you can't go up there not with Attacker waiting. So leaving slowly over towards Ivy. You've got now somebody still pushed up. There's the Halls. I mean, they kind of have like 2 players outside. They're really depending on Jaw to hold inner. Pro's having to watch kind of like 2 different angles here, which makes things very difficult for him, especially when we already had slowly get a kill in this position before, and now with Attacker backing him up, it seems like they do want to continue to make this push happen. Wait, the entire team's going to Ivy? No. Summers, he's got a smoke. I think that's going to go towards Pop again.
Here we go. Smoke on the left side. This gives away the pushes coming in. Pro's ready for it. Finger on the trigger. Takes down Attacker. Great trade by Slowly with a pre-fire around the corner. Now a 3v2. Derek waiting to push out of this smoke and Pop Dog. He's completely removed from play. He's got to make a move. Jazz by himself. But he sits there, he waits, and because of that 1-for-1 trades happen, 12 seconds left, they're going to go for the plant yet again. He can stop it! 9 seconds! They've got to get this down. The smoke wasn't in play in time. It's picked up by somebody. 4 seconds! He's going to get it done, right? Just about enough time. Derek comes over, knows where he is, the spam, but it's not connecting. Somebody goes up on top of the train. AWP in hand, sees Derek on there. Oh, good shot returned. He's chipping away at his health, but Derek's got to be careful. Just 1 bullet of this up and it'll all be over. Somebody on the long rotate going all the way down to Ivy. That should catch Derek off guard, and indeed it does. 12 for Tyloo. God, that came close though.
Such a close round yet again. Like Tyloo, they can't get any clean rounds on this T side. Big shout to Bren with the play, and I can't believe he was pushing through the smoke like that. I can't believe he almost pulled off the clutch to get them up to 14. Obviously, Slowly with that refrag was amazing, but to see them kind of plant the same spot multiple times and be unsuccessful 2 times in a row, you had to assume Bren was going to win that. I would have been so frustrated if I was Tyloo there. Especially when they have the smoke down before or towards Pop. Some of the aggression's being halted. Lack of utility for Tyloo's side because of losing so many players in the last round alone. Dan King, you're not going to be able to see through the smoke. He's going to boost over. Oh, I like this. If they were there a little bit earlier on, they would have had Derek. But Derek actually might push up for the peak again. He was starting to make his way up there. The smoke's going to fade, though, so he's definitely not going to peek into it. But it's a big 4-man play on the outer bomb site, as Wits is still going to maintain the connector. He actually peeks into the Molotovs, even shoot! He's down to 26 health now.
Smoke on the left side, that's just to distract them and hopefully keep the players dedicated towards that part of the map. They've actually got 4 on A at the moment. As Tyloo moves to the B side, Jazz spots them, molly down. Rotate on its way from Wits, who's going to be here with the AWP. And with 35 seconds left, there's got to be a big move by Tyloo. Getting into this site is not going to be easy. Wits has moved position to play up on the site, conscious of a smoke going down to connector. Jazz spotting another. They should start a heavier rotate towards B, but they're not going to be here in time. The players on the side have to do all the work. Jazz 1-for-1s. Wits fires off. Oh no, somebody goes onto the ladder. I don't think he meant to do that. The bomb dropped in the open on the A side for the rotate, and that is it. A very swift conclusion to that round. The fake not quite selling in the way they wanted it to. I feel like B commitment would have been the play, but I understand, you know, they figured they dragged more rotates, having been spotted out twice. But now 14 to 12. As Bren close in on that victory, we could be seeing a map 3.
I think it's definitely in the cards. And if I have to even double check if I wrote this down correctly. Is that really Overpass as a 3rd map too? I mean, we saw Bren yesterday going to Overpass and finished off 19-17 against them for Mazalai. I mean, Tyloo, they have won it 67% of the time, so 2 out of the 3 times they played it. Bren, however, 33%, and Tyloo, well, they beat Vici twice on it, 16-6, 16-9. They lost to Tiger, 19-15. I played it fairly recently, but who knows? Like, I mean, I think again we thought this was going to be a 2-0, especially after the first map. Like that second half turned so dominating. Bren, you take a win here and you beat a top team. You also set yourselves up nicely to stay out of that bottom 2.
I mean, we gotta again, give massive props to players like Derek, who's just setting up the team, leading the charge in terms of the fragging department. Jazz had some good rounds. He's going to have a better one here. Now stuck on the bomb site, not by himself though. Chulo's made the rotate. Tyloo committing to B early on. They managed to find 1-for-1 trades, but they don't know about the player still ducked up on the site. Jazz has been found, dealt with quite quickly, pushing forward just after Wits spammed the smoke. Dan King takes him down, and I mean, Bren, they've not got a lot of money. Pro and Ja are quite low on cash, and I think they probably should just try and save these weapons.
You know, we were talking about like inconsistency out of Bren, and I think we're kind of seeing it here. Like, I mean, you think back to Mirage, their CT side was all right, 8-7. Then they would take one round before Tyloo finished off the game. Here, I mean, they win themselves 7 rounds in a row on CT side before they lose their first. Did lose the pistol in the follow-up round, but ever since then, like, those rounds were so dominating. Nice job by Derek to get a kill and to take away some money from Tyloo's side. But can they close it out? That is something potentially I would worry for them. They're going to buy up an op for Wits. They're going to run out of money relatively soon. Tyloo tie things up. I wonder if Bren's going to have a decent buy.
I think we've got a 300 IQ play by Tyloo in the previous round. I think that was Derek's A go B. And it worked. Just avoid him.
Hey, if it wins you rounds.
And Derek's he's playing too good, honestly. I would actively avoid him at this point, or try to deal with him. You know he's playing Ivy. So either push up there at the start of the round and try to get him out. You post the op as they've done, and you can see they tried to do it, right? They had the round where they boosted the op of the smoke, then pushed up, but they got mollied out. Instead, it's going to be just a dead-on A hit. They've taken down Pro, and Chulo, here's Derek's time to shine. Gets one from afar, tucks into Ivy. He's ready for somebody's push. Looks for that 1v1, and he's being offered it. Somebody goes down. My God, he just goes one after another, destroying them. Luckily, Ja was spotted in the smoke, so it is a 1v3 for Wits, but dude, Derek's just too consistent. What happened? Yesterday, this dude couldn't throw a flashbang. Like, he genuinely team flashed more than he flashed enemies. And yet here he is, absolutely shredding the best team in Asia. I can't process what, like, day to day, Bren have turned from a team that lose to the worst team in the tournament to genuine contenders against the best team in Asia. Explain, please, someone.
I think the answer when you get back is that Tyloo just played to level their opponents.
In one way, true. I mean, look at all the 1v1s they just offered to Derek. Oh, but this... Oh, God. It's not
I mean, the thing is, obviously, Derek is popping off 30 kills, and regulation is pretty ridiculous. Wits, you know, we got to give him a shout out. We talk, you know, negatively about him quite a bit, but he's definitely stepped up from, what, the 3 kills he had towards the end of the first half. He's up to 15. He's been getting in there. He's been definitely, like, you know, being more consistent with the op, which is something we wanted to see out of the offer for Bren Esports. He's been hitting a lot more shots, especially, like, high-pressure shots when they're up close. Now tied up at 14 apiece. Wits, they're going to get the op back to his hands. Derek, I give him the M4. Why does he have the FAMAS? You got to give your top fragger that gun. And if they lose this round, Tyloo's on 15, and they don't really have much money.
Do you remember there was a game in the first week, I can't remember which player it was, but someone had like 5 kills, and they took an M4 or an AK while their teammate who had 20-something had a deagle. I was just looking at that like, I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but why have you got the rifle? Like, you gotta accept when you're not having a good game, or when your teammate's having a god-tier game, and give them the weapon. But apparently, it's not how this works. Derek, great game so far. You're holding it down single-handedly. You're finding multi-kills every round. Here's a FAMAS. Let's see what he can do with it. He might have to use it, and he finds one from the side. Unfortunately, that's going to be it.
Well, they tried avoiding Derek, but he's like, surprise, I'm still here. But it's only the one. They still have Jaw here. Flashbang comes through. It's really nice. He got for a big stack towards the inner bomb site. I don't know if Tyloo are going to expect this, because Dan King's going to be peeking with the bomb, but he gets the kill in a Jaw either way. 4-on-2. Chulo now here. Wits rotating in. I mean, they already killed 3 players towards the B side. You would have to imagine they're going to rotate outer. Or are they just going to continue to push through? Dan King's by himself, but he's still peeking this angle. They have wits on and up. There was a chance he could have died towards upper, and they would have had to have wasted a smoke or a flash to pick it back up, but smoke's going down. It's all on Papachulo. Wits is not really be given in too well of an angle, but he gets the first kill in a slowly, but it might just be the fake.
Why's the bomb still
You got bomb, bro. Oh no.
What is going on?
Danking has to spawn him.
Okay, he got the kill, but what? Like, what? Why?
If he dies, if Poppy wins that fight, it's over.
What's the point? Why are you pushing A with 2 players and Danking staying with the bomb upper B by himself? I'm scratching my head, Tyloo. What are you doing? It works out, but again, as we said before, works out doesn't mean it's right. Bad plays sometimes win rounds, but geez, that was odd. The problem with the stack there for Bren is that they showed 2 players bottom ramp, right? Then you saw the peek from Derek 3 seconds later. There's no way the player had made it to upper from ramp. So they killed one lower ramp, then they killed Derek. They know there's another player. While they're waiting to deal with him, and we eventually saw the swing by Danking, all that time, the rotates were on their way. They eventually deal with the player upper, but now they know that those guys have rotated in, and they know there's at least one more on the B side, that there should be, logically. So at no point are they really ever set up in a position where the CTs can catch them off guard with that stack. Tyloo constantly know the kind of odds that they're up against. Really nice shots by Wits there on both occasions to save over that AWP. But we need to see it do more.
That's something I've been criticizing him on, is not hitting those high pressure shots when they're up close. But he's definitely been proving me wrong here, and you got to give him the credit. I don't know. I feel like Bleh should have no hair left. If he dies, that's it. And he almost did die. And now into the final round of regulation, Bren have nothing.
I think, honestly, if Danking had died in that situation, they lost the round. It would just be polite of Tyloo to forfeit the series. Just go back to the drawing board. Let Bren have it. It's not going to hurt you that much. Be nice dudes. But no, at 15 to 14, chances are there for them to take this across the line. Hopefully Tyloo were awake after what was a scary previous round. Pro is literally floating. But now he starts to move on forward. We'll see what he can get done. He gets flashed. Both players actually got flashed. Yeah. And then down goes somebody. A little upgrade for Pro. Upper control. Firmly secured. Players on B are pincered. They've got to go up and deal with this guy. Pro moves and gets shot just as he does. And this could be the end of it now. 4 versus 2. Derek on a deagle. Derek gets it on the deagle. Of course he does. Because he's Derek. Pappy's nicked the AK. But Derek's with low HP. I think that's a reasonable thing. They don't have... So they've no smoke. They have a molly for upper or lower, I guess.
And again, Tyloo have a smoke to block it off if needed. And a flash. Time's taken away, 20 seconds left to go. Derek has the kit, he's gonna be sticking it. Need to peek out on this one, they're gonna spot him out. He's still holding on to it, he does get killed off in the nick of time. There had to have been 0.01 seconds left. And Tyloo will clutch it out at the very end, but you know what, Mitch? They shouldn't feel good about that victory, not at all. 16-14 after such a dominating first map. Bren, they showed some signs of life. They pushed one of the best team in Asia almost to overtime on train and into a third map. They have to feel proud of themselves, but obviously disappointed they didn't close it out.
Yeah, look, with Derek playing the way he was, I don't think it's that much of a surprise. Another weird couple last rounds, you know? No one's given him the rifle. It's kind of like, I can afford an M4, so that's not my problem, is it? Like, I really feel like some of these teams need to just take a look. It's not that they're bad players. So you have to understand when someone on your team is popping off, hitting heads like mad, give them the rifle, you know? Take that one round with a deagle.
I mean,
I
will say this, though. The round that we're talking about where he had a FAMAS, I don't think he would have gotten more than one anyways because he was like triple peaked. Yeah. But I mean, I agree, obviously, with the mindset behind that, what you're saying, Mitch. But let's hear what Bled and Dinko have to say about that game. But first of all, I want to talk about that one play to Danking. Alone, inside of halls. His 2 teammates have gone out into the A site. He has bomb. Why? Okay. Well, I don't think Bones to talk about Dinko. Why?
I think what's going on in this Tyloo team is that when they play against these opponents where they should be beating them very easily, some of the decisions made just seem to go out the window. I don't really know what's going on. Sometimes Tyloo, when they come into these situations, they can be one of the best looking teams, make all the right calls, and then when they're going up against Bren, a team that's one of the lower tier teams in this entire tournament, Tyloo go out the window and it's all about aim and no thoughts go into any of their plays, and it's very questionable. Of course we have to go all the rounds, and at this point Tyloo, well, I agree with you, Jason, they're not going to be happy with this whatsoever.
Yeah, not a clean win at all, and I mean there was massive frustrations going on in this map. I mean, Tyloo, they look so clean. Look at that, 8-1, and yet it went the full rounds. We don't even know necessarily what was going wrong with the Tyloo camp. I know you did mention, and something that stuck in my head was they seemed to play at the level of their opponents, but there was just so many sloppy things happening, and obviously Derek popping off was a big factor for Bren.
Yeah, what worries me with Tyloo is, look, they're not a Bren, they're not a Lucid Dream, they're not battling for survival here. They're battling to qualify for the major. That's the level they're keeping themselves at, and it's just weird, right? We see Danking with a few missed shots. He doesn't miss those. He doesn't miss those, and he shouldn't be as well. Some of the rounds would just get completely shut down as well. Again, I don't want to take everything away from Bren. Like I think the latter half of that first half, they did a very good job neutering somebody towards that IV area. His CT side presence towards IV is so annoying. I saw him basically being unplayable against Vici, and he pushes out Ivy. Like, the T's have to expend utility to take Ivy away from the CTs, and then they have to work all the way inside towards outer bomb side. But they did a pretty good job later on to kind of neutralize somebody and get this early man advantages. They were pop flashing with their teammates. Even on the CD side, it wasn't them playing very, very passively. They were going for the mid-round aggression. They were flashing the teammates and basic fundamental good CD side. But that's Bren playing at their best. Again, Wits, first half, nowhere to be found. Kind of woke up the second half as well. As a primary opera, as a dedicated opera for your team, you need to be doing more, especially if you're going to be playing maps like Train, right? Now, Derek having a great game really helped make things very close. But if that didn't happen, I think Bren would have lost a little bit more convincingly. But yeah, I don't want to harp too much on Bren. They tried. They came a little short. Going to be very disappointing the way that ended, considering it looked like it was going to go to map number 3. For Tyloo, you can't keep playing at this level, and like, if you're going to put Train in, you're going to have an 8-1 lead against Bren, and you bring it to a 16-14. I'm sorry, like, it's not good enough. It is not good enough, and these are the mistakes which you're going to be building up. You're going to have these tendencies which you have against teams like Bren, and then you're going to qualify, go for a Pro League, or go for the majors, face off against, let's say, a G2 or an Astralis or a Fnatic, doesn't matter who. You're going to get completely crapped on. You're going to get punished for these small little mistakes and some of the loose style we've seen coming out from Tyloo. That is something you need to start fixing right now, and not wait for them, not wait till you're all the way in EU or NA, whatever, playing some of these bigger events before you fix them. So you need to address these problems right now. I don't know when that's going to happen. I can feel the frustration coming out from you and Mitch as well when you guys were casting that second map.
It's just so weird, right? I mean, we're used to seeing in the Western Hemisphere, just like when a team's better than another team, they typically don't let games get that close. But it's also hard at some points, I guess. But let's take a look, though, at the MVP of that map, and it's got to be going the way of Slowly. 26 kills, 6 multi-kill rounds. I mean, to be fair, I feel like almost Derek deserved the MVP of the entire thing. I mean, I understand they lost the map, but with 32 kills against a team like Tyloo, I mean, you can see there, like, he put on a hell of a performance here, Dinko.
Yeah, I said yesterday, Derek is kind of like the X factor for Bren. If he can show up, they can win a lot of rounds. But he shows up, and it's still not enough, unfortunately. 32 kills, impressive performance, but it's Slowly, I think, probably going to be the MVP of this. And well, he was again. This, I think, will be his third one. He's just incredible. He's kept this consistent level up throughout this entire tournament. When somebody's been quiet, it's actually Slowly stepping up. I think somebody has been quite underwhelming in this tournament so far. He's not really performing the way we'd expect or want from him. But luckily, in these close situations, in these scary maps for Tyloo, Slowly has been showing up. And his individual performance on Train seems to be consistent. So anytime we get to see Tyloo on Train, I'm going to keep looking at Slowly, because he's been very, very impressive. He's a player on the T side that can pull a lot of rounds back for Tyloo. He's been getting those multi-kills, moving in on his own. So, yeah, I think Slowly is actually a player to keep an eye on. I think he's come into this team and probably not been given the best role based on him not being as known as the other players. And I think when he gets more comfortable and starts to really get into this team, Slowly is going to be one of the best players in China from what I've seen so far.
Just want to add on what Dinko said. I think that the little bit of a glimmer of good things or hope for Tyloo, despite these mixed results, would be the fact that slowly an attacker have kind of come into their own. Attacker obviously we always knew what he could do, but him waking up recently has been a very good sign for them.